to Nomad at night, starring the one and only Nomad.
Yo, Super No Maniacs. Welcome to some extra sauce at the Super No Maniac Lounge. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about because I don't think we got to everything I think we needed to get to the other day when we did the show, the breaking news show on, the press conference after Matt Eberflus was fired and they hired Thomas Jones officially as the interim head coach. Much that we predicted was going to happen started to happen, and the circus I think is in Ringling Brothers is in the building at Halas Hall, man. And I don't know, I know what to think about it all, but I'm gonna pass some judgment tonight, and I'm not really one to be pointing at Halas Hall and professionals doing their jobs inside that building. I'm talking about on the administrative side, the football personnel side, that whole thing, and really saying, I'm never going to say what they need to do. Never going to say that. I'm going to pass my judgment on what I think is the right way to go about this and what is not. And I think everybody else will have their say on that. I'm starting to see signs, and the more and more we get away from that actual press conference trips and kids, the more and more I'm starting to feel Kevin Warren's presence in this situation. And I don't like it. I don't like it. That man's a businessman. That guy's a businessman. He's an administrator of business affairs. This thing with coaching and football personnel, I'm not comfortable with him touching that. I mean, having some say so in it, as far as an opinion, is his prerogative as a president of an operation or an organization. It's his prerogative. But to be steeped in this thing like football people are, and have your hand in a process that really, if you got a general manager, let him generally manage the team. You know what I mean? Let him do this, is my opinion. But that's just one part of what I want to talk about. There's several other things that we're going to talk about. We'll get into some specifics about this matchup with the 49ers. One thing in particular, for sure, that I want to talk about. But I really feel good about this game. This tone and tenor that Thomas Brown has brought into the building is really, I think it's infectious, rather. And I like it, man. I feel like I'm listening to him talking. I want to play. You know what I mean? So we're going to have a lot to say about all these things in the show, but let me shut my damn mouth and pass it on to the guy from Canada, the Canuck, for some pleasantries before we get going.
Hey, that's me. I'm from Canada. What it do, all y'all? Hopefully, the world's been treating you well. It's been doing what it does with me. Good or bad, I'm doing the darn thing. I'm breathing, so I'm happy. The good minister's with us. My guy Black Diamond is also out there with us, holding it down. FFG styles out there. My homeboy Triple R is right there underneath me. And big shout outs to the King of Pop as per normal. Big shout outs to Nomad as per normal. We're just doing the darn thing here, chopping it up about our favorite squad, and things are a little bit shaky at the top, as we're well aware. I'm wondering if anybody's seen this George McCaskey. Has anybody seen this George McCaskey Twitter account? It's got a blue check. You know what I mean? It's got a blue check. It's at Lake Forest. But I'm just wondering if anybody else is paying attention. It's just an interesting. If it's really George, it's really interesting. Some of these tweets that are flying out from George McCaskey, especially over the last little while. It's really interesting stuff. But I don't know. Maybe it's a BS account. It could be a totally false account. I don't know. But lots of fun stuff to talk about for the top down with this Bears team. And we got a football game to talk about as well coming up on Sunday. And one thing to note, everybody hurt. We did a show yesterday and things were kind of cool. We were like, hey, San Francisco's hurting. Yo, we hurting too, y'all.
Oh yeah,
So,
I got the injury report coming up. But what's more important right now than anything else in the world is that Minister Charles Johnson is frying yard pimp right now as we speak, watching the show, and that really pisses me off. I can't even hear the words "I'm frying chicken" without wanting some chicken. But what say you, Trish? What's the business?
Make sure you keep that grease not too hot. You don't want to burn it. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want it soggy, so not too cold. So you know what I'm saying? Right? What is that? 350, 380 that you fry at? Is that what it is?
I don't know who uses it. Who uses a thermometer?
Well, I mean, you got to know where it is. You drop a little bit of flour in there to see if it bubbles up. And if it bubbles up too much, you turn that down. You back off the heat a little bit. Too hot.
No. You got to flick that water in there. If that shit pop your ass, you got some good grease.
Well, you see, that's what you kind of want to avoid. So yeah. we don't want no splattering of grease. That's bad.
What's carnitas tostadas?
I don't know.
Now, he's north of the border trying to talk like he's from south of the border. What the fuck is going on up in here?
I'm just good with the pronunciation. You know what I'm saying?
At
least one Latino in my tongue.
Carnitas tostadas.
Hey, Minister Charles said, "Hey, Trip, I do this shit."
Right, Chihuahua. But yeah, big up all the No Maniacs. Much love. Make sure you are subscribed and following on all the socials and the YouTube channel, Sports Chicago Style. How you doing? But yeah, I know we're going to speak on it more in depth, but just to kind of echo what Nomad was saying for the intro, starting from the top down, it seems as though Georgia's last not connection, but influence, like head coach wise, into Halas Hall is gone, and that's under Poles and Warren. And Warren just strikes me as the type of dude that is like, if I see a chance to grab some power and take it, I'm gonna go ahead and do that because that's what I do. Mm-hmm. And Poles just happened to be like, yo, but I'm trying to general manager up in this piece. He was like, yeah, but you need my help with that dude George, right? He was like, well, yeah. He was like, all right, that's gonna cost you, homie. You know what I'm saying? So now at the press conference, Poles got to sit there like he the little brother, and the big brother, President Warren's doing all the jibber jabbering, running off at the jibs, and Poles is sitting there like, this motherfucker here. Oh, I swear to God. And so that's just kind of what it looked like. But yeah, it's a very interesting subplot going on over there. So it remains to be seen. And the excitement.
Well, because it is as we've always thought it was gonna be. You know what,
Kedz? I'm gonna pivot right to that conversation. But just give me a chance to get this up because it seems like some anxiety is out there. Let me share my screen. I got you, kids. I got you covered. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But let me share my screen right quick. So a lot of people are like, oh shit, what's going on here? So the injury report came out. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, unfortunately.
All right, so let me break down what I see this to be. And so you got Keenan Allen did not practice. Ryan Bates did not practice. So did Elijah Hicks did not practice. Roshan concussion did not practice. DJ Moore didn't. And DeAndre Swift did not practice. The limited guys were Kevin Byard, Coleman Shelton, and Darnell Wright. What I see this is, and I'm going to be really, really, really short before I pass it to you guys, is this just makes nothing but sense. This is the physical practice day. Wednesday, it's always that physical. You got to go punch somebody in the mouth, and this is the day we get to go hard. And if you got like key guys that are nicked up and injured from the totality of the season and that kind of stuff going on, it just makes good common sense. They don't need that physical practice, do they? Nah, not really. If they still a little nicked up and need some extra time, you don't put them in, man. You just put them in a training room, let them get ready for Sunday. And that's what this looks like more than anything else to me. But how did you guys view this? Okay.
Hey man, this is week 14 in NFL. I'm just glad the list ain't that long. I mean, sure, we already got a couple guys on IR, but it's a physical, violent game, as Coach Brown stated. But I'm just happy to see that Darnell Wright was limited after seeing him get carted off, the field. That's always not good. But he's limited. It's like, oh shit, okay. But I noticed even Yoda your boy, old man in the league, he's even practicing, and he don't usually practice during the week. So, coming off the holiday, he must have a little energy. What's that boy? What's his name? Mercedes Lewis. Yeah. And it's like Ryan Bates. It's like, damn, this dude can't never get on the field. Keenan Allen, damn, right when they're starting to get that connection, even though I get that we want to build the confidence in Caleb and all that, but Keenan ain't gonna be here. Why are we building this connection? Those should be your doomsies reps that Allen is getting, but that's a different thing. Hicks, I would love to see back on the field, but if you can't run at safety, what you gonna do? This is like Roshan Johnson's second concussion, concerning. DJ Moore, he's always dinged up because that dude's a warrior. He's gonna play. I can guarantee you that. And if he don't play, he's hurting. DeAndre Swift, you need that quad to run, and he's that outside cut guy. Byard, he's an older dude. He's limited, but he's out there. And Shelton, we need. I'm gonna say this, but we need Shelton out there playing on the offensive line because he makes it better. There, I said it. I know.
See?
Go ahead, kids.
Like Shelton jumped out at me. The one guy who really jumped out at me is DeAndre Swift, because if Roshan's in the concussion protocol, he's likely not playing. He didn't play. I don't believe he played at all last week, if I'm correct. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, if he's not out of concussion protocol, he may not be playing at all this week. So we definitely need to have a running back. And, unless they elevate Darrington Evans real quick, it's, Travis Homer for the day.
By the way,
they also signed Felton, running back for the practice squad, Demetrius Felton, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's two, but that's who we're starting running the ball.
I saw Swift on he was doing a Fox interview with the blonde chick. I forget her name. I can't think of her name. Respect to her. I got the sense that he's going to play. He's just. I think all of this, especially these top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 guys. I think that's all just coach just giving deference to. Man, y'all go in there and get iced up and do what you need to do. We don't need y'all out here for the bang bang practice. We need y'all for Sunday. And that's what it looks like to me. I think each and every last one of them, minus Roshan and I think Elijah Hicks. No, I think, let's just say Keenan Allen's going to play. DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift will play. The DNPs. I think Bates, Hicks, Roshan probably won't. That's what I think.
All right.
But, that's what I take from this. It's just, you got this time of year, you have to do some things different than you normally do. Some guys that would normally do a physical Wednesday practice, starters and things like that. Why would you put them out there when they're banged up and it's going to be hard enough to get them to Sunday? It's not going to look good when you put them on the injury report, and the whole damn fan base is going to be like, oh shit, we're screwed because these guys ain't going to play this week. I just don't see it that. It's just regular attrition for every team, and keep them out. They don't need that physical practice. They need that physical Sunday. And so what say you, Trips? I see you over there thinking out loud.
Oh no, I was just thinking, it could be a lot worse. We're not seeing Sweat on there with his leg issue. We're not seeing Pickens on there with his groin. So I mean, these are frontline starters, which are always bad when they go down, but shit happens.
All right. We can come back to that. If people want to continue to talk about that, we can put that back up. But I'm gonna stop this screen right quick and talk about Kedz, I'll let you lead this conversation because we got to get right back into this whole Kevin Warren being involved in this thing, and I think it stinks. I don't like it. It's the backwards way to run your organization, and we wonder why people from the outside say, what the F is going on in Chicago? This is the kind of stuff is the reason why. You shouldn't have non-football people making football damn decisions. And so that's my whole thing. And I'm gonna put up a little image, man. And this is what I sincerely mean about this situation. is you stay out of this, Kevin Warren. I mean, you really need to stay out of this, my guy. This ain't built for you. You know what I mean? It's going to be a shit show. This is my problem. This is my problem. But go ahead, kids. We're gonna just look at that for a minute, and I'll explain what I see on here.
Well, go ahead and explain. What are you worried about, man?
We're looking there. He wants to turn this into a circus because everything for Kevin Warren is about PR. That's how people like him operate. Business people operate in the PR world. They want to turn this into some Ringling Brothers. Okay, everybody wants these two guys or whoever else. And okay, let's feed them that. It's going to be a whole lot of stuff getting leaked out of the organization about them, you know, trying to pander to Ben Johnson or them trying to, and this won't happen until the season is over because there are rules and restrictions during the season on who you can contact and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as the season is over, these are going to be the two guys that, and it's going to be led by Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren's going to be in front of that PR thing that goes on. That's what this is going to be, because I don't think these two guys at all are the right pieces. I mean, the right picks for the organization. There's no, there's this, you know, a lot of people want to, huh?
Why?
A lot of people want to, I'm gonna explain myself. A lot of people want to see the experienced coach come in here that has a track record, and we'll get to that part of the conversation as well. I don't think that's the best thing in the world. I'm gonna tell you why. 9 out of the 14 possible playoff teams have first-time head coaches. What does that tell you, kids?
Say that again.
9 out of the 14 possible playoff teams that's going to be in this playoff cycle have first-time head coaches. That doesn't make you like, okay, all right, maybe I got a flawed way of thinking about this. That doesn't make you think?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I like experience. I think people who've shown that they've done, like, can do something, can do that thing. Right? Like, I don't know. It's something that the Bears have definitely tried a bunch of times. Is a brand spanking new guy. Right?
Well, hey, didn't Shane Waldron have experience being an OC though before in the NFL?
He did have experience being an OC, but I don't know. Like, here's the other part to it, right? Like, he had experience as an OC with underneath like a proven, respected leader, and I think that was the real mistake, right? Like, I don't know how loud Shane Waldron had to be as an OC in Seattle. I think at the end of the day, the dominant guy was Pete Carroll, right? He would have been the dominant voice. I don't know if Flus was really the dominant voice here. I don't think that helped or served Shane Waldron very well either. But yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, if you go down that logic route, you know, look at Ben Johnson. He's not that dominant guy. It's their roided up head coach. And you look at Kingsbury, you know, he's just kind of a guy. He's not very dominant as well. He's another one of those soft-spoken, low-key kind of guys.
See, and that makes me pause and say, like, are these guys leaders of men as well? Like, who is this leader of men in these situations? And to that degree, these guys are sort of also unproven. Not necessarily Kingsbury. Kingsbury has done it, has had a kick at the can. I wouldn't sit here and say it was the worst kick at the can either.
One thing I would say.
Well, he did have to disappear over to Thailand, you know, for the girly boys or carts or whatever he was going over there for, because, you know, they ran his ass up out of Arizona.
Okay, I didn't realize he'd gone. He'd done hangover too.
One of our super nomaniacs, Black Diamond, says, "Nomad, I disagree. The man has been around football 30 years and doesn't impress me as a Ted Phillips type. I believe he will hire the right guy."
But that's the problem, though. It's not his job to hire the head coach. That's the general manager's job. That's the problem.
That's one point. Here's another thing, Black Diamond. Just because you're around football for 30 years, it's about what capacity you've been around football in. he's been around in football in a business administrative perspective. And so he's somewhere making big time moves to blend the Big Ten with a whole bunch of different teams. That kind of thing is not football personnel. That's not really even adjacent to it. That's like one thing, and this is another. Now, 30 years in football, you got to give him credit for that. He's been around it. Good, he knows some things. But player personnel and coaching, I wouldn't trust that man to do none of that. Number one. Number two, he got some thin ass lip for a black man. I don't like that shit. Liver lip, motherfucker.
What does that mean?
Might not mean shit, but I don't trust no black man with them thin ass lips like that. What say you, kid? You over there awful quiet. I can't. If you're saying something, I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Just give me 1 sec, man. Sorry, my apologies.
But yeah, man, it's I'm Kevin Warren, man. It's nah. He really shouldn't have anything to do with this. This is the job of somebody that's been entrenched in this kind of thing for years and years, and are used to this kind of thing. And Kevin Warren's just a guy that has a suit on and has a position that commandeered probably some rank that he probably didn't deserve because the McCaskies allowed him. You know, I just don't like it, man. It stinks to me.
Well, you know, theoretically, Warren is supposed to be in charge, not George. You know, George, you know, handles the resources, as he puts it. You know, he pays, writes checks, salaries for the coaches. But if Warren wants to have more input in the player or coach decisions, then he's, you know, being a little, you know, power hungry. He's overreaching. He's not running the team. To run the team, you have to delegate the responsibilities, and one of those responsibilities as the GM is to hire the coach. Is plural. And or hire the head coach, and the head coach hire his coaches. But none of this shit works like that in Halas Hall. You know, it's all, you know, well, we're going to hire this coach here, then we'll hire this GM, then we'll hire the president, and then we'll expect them all to work together. Then when it doesn't work together, everybody's out of whack with the timeline. So now we're bringing in new coaches or GMs or whatever the fuck, and they're not on the same schedule with the old ones and these contracts. And then we're screwed for another few decades. So if Poles looks like he knows how the politics works, how to play the game, so to speak, and if he's doing what he has to do to keep his job, and, you know, Cunningham's probably in his ear like, yo, these motherfuckers trying this shit, dog. You know, watch out for this and like this. You know, I'm sure he's building this like, yeah, okay, I feel you. But I get to deal with the media and President Warren now. And so it's just a lot of shit going on. But if Poles looks like he can choose who he wants to choose, things could be a lot more cohesive, if you will, as opposed to Warren saying, well, I'm thinking we want this guy as coach. And then Poles is like, fuck, I didn't want that asshole. And now they have to work together, and then it doesn't work out. And then Poles is gone, and then the coach is here. And now we're looking for a GM who we have this coach in place and president. Then it's all fucked up again. So I'm just hoping, with fingers crossed, that Thomas Brown is the guy. He looks good in these remaining 5 games. He wins over, you know, Warren. He convinces McCaskey, like, yeah, we could work with this kid going forward. And it will be Poles' guy because he brought him in. You know, I get they got to go through the due diligence and speak to other coaches, and maybe there went be won over. But Brown has such an upper hand with these 5 games that it's like, hey, look at my body of work that I did with your team. None of these other coaches could say that. And none of these other coaches can say that, you know, unless they're Bill Belichick, 72 years old, you know, knocking it out with that 24-year-old nasty. You know, he got grandkids older than that little girl. But anyway, I'm sure if he goes out in the saddle, it's a hell of a way to go. Right on, coach. But yeah, we don't want his old ass up in here coaching. And it's like Kingsbury, he failed in Arizona. Vrabel failed in Tennessee. You know, Johnson hasn't been a coach yet. So it's like none of these guys are standing on nothing. And it's like, Chucky, no, we good. We don't need Gruden up in here. So it's like, what are, other than that, it's like other new guys, new jacks coming up and comers, like the OC from Buffalo or the OC from the Buccaneers or whoever the fuck. So I really would like Thomas Brown to be the guy because it keeps that cohesion in place. It keeps the development of Caleb going, and everything will just be everything. We bring somebody else in here, now everything's all shit again.
True that, man. You know something, before you go, Kedz, man, let me be crystal clear about something. And I'm just responding to you, Black Diamond. He's saying to Trips that the GM fucked this up. I hear, and he's talking about the coaching, talking about getting Flus in here and keeping Flus in here. You know, the situation, the stories are murky. I ain't gonna lie to you, Petty. The shit's murky. I don't know whether Flus was the originator of Matt Eberflus, or if he had anything to do with Matt Eberflus staying. He signed off on it, so yes, you have to put that shit in his lap. But I don't know. This is Halas Hall. They do shit fucking backwards all the time. And so I don't know how much influence Poles had in picking this coach when he came in here. Number one. Number two, and how much say so he had to get rid of him. Because my understanding, if you listen to some of the reports out there, it sounded to me like he wanted to get rid of this guy weeks ago and he wasn't allowed to. So how much of that shit do you really want to blame on Poles? Is my question.
I don't know. I don't know where Matt Eberflus begins and Ryan Poles ends. I honestly don't. Here, like, if I had a wish for Ryan Poles, a single wish, it would be to go back in time when he first came through, and and they positioned those coaches that they've already done their search to him. I would have stopped right there and said, no, I don't want to have anything to do with any of the guys that you've talked to already. I want to do my own thing. We're going to start now. I'm here now. You sign me. I'm going to find my coach. It's not going to be any of those guys. I don't even care who those guys are. Just scrub them from the list. I have my own list. I'm going to make my own list. That's my wish. Because right from there, running with whoever they decided was the guy, clearly was the biggest mistake you could have made, because you didn't look like, Ryan Poles did not look like he was in good sorts at that press conference. It's probably the best way to put it. You didn't look pleased with the outcome of the last little while, and pleased is probably the wrong word. I can understand him not being pleased, but he looked genuinely muted, demoted, right? That's and I just mean that in stature more than anything else, right? So that was the vibe it gave off to me. And man, I don't even know what to say, man. I don't know what to say, because I don't trust Kevin Warren by any stretch of the imagination. And it's not that I should or shouldn't trust him. He hasn't done anything.
Brought him here to build a stadium. None of that's even gotten even remotely close to something that any Bears fan or anybody around the situation can hang on to. None of that's happened. And all of a sudden he jumps into this situation because he decided that it was a PR crisis and neutered the general manager for no good reason. That none of this shit required Kevin Warren to be in front of the media.
But hold on.
None of it, bro.
But it may, if Ryan Poles was in some capacity going to bat for Matt Eberflus in this, and this is where waters become murky and stories become different. From what I'm hearing, he is what you're saying. I've been hearing since New England he had enough and he wanted out. real talk, even that worries me, right? Like, it took you to New England, bro. Really though, bro. Took you to New England. Anyways, if after New England, that's when he finally decided that he'd had enough. That's one thing. But I don't. He retained him. He hired him in the first place. I don't know who ends where, and if his coaching hires are strictly like, are they Matt Eberflus's coaching hires, or was he involved? How involved was he? All that confuses me, because so far, from a coaching perspective, flop city for Ryan Poles. Right?
I mean, I think the question is, at the end of the day, there's no official anything out there saying that that Ryan Poles wasn't, in charge of hiring Matt Eberflus, and he wasn't in charge of keeping Matt Eberflus, even though it was obvious that they needed to make a change. And so it's just all reporters out there saying this, saying that. These are people that's close to the organization and hear things that we can't on the outside always hear.
Well, that's the thing, though. A lot of these quote unquote reporters, and I'm actually using air quotes, have their own podcast, and they can't separate when are they reporters, when are they speculating on podcasts.
True.
So, well, I feel this, or I thought this, and it's like, all right, so what actually the fuck happened? Just tell us that. But they have to, get those clicks, so they expand or they exaggerate or they embellish, whatever the case may be. But I don't blame Warren for the pace that this new stadium deal is taking. I mean, like, he's been here, 2 years now? And so this shit takes time. I mean, Arlington Heights just last week agreed to the new tax structure. So, I mean, the Bears fans want the shit done now. Why don't we have a new stadium? Why isn't, the shovels in the ground yet? It's like, because it's politics, baby. You know what I'm saying? Arlington Heights was like, true. Yo, what's that?
I said that's so true.
Yeah. I mean, Arlington Heights is trying to be like, ching, bitches. We about to get paid. We about to tax these motherfuckers till tomorrow. And one was like, nah, fuck all that. We go holler back at Chicago. And then, Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, is like, yeah, holler at me. We want them to stay in Chicago and keep that franchise here at Soldier Field, because ain't nobody else using that thing. And so they was like, all right, we mock up some shit for Soldier Field. We mock up some shit for the area. We mock some shit for the area without Soldier Field, but we can't because of the historical shit. And then Arlington Heights was like, yo, they talking to Chicago. And it was like, all right, we don't need all that money as long as we get some of the money. And it's like, we lower your shit. Come on back, President Warren. Now President Warren's like, oh, yeah, we just happen to have this mock-up of what we was going to do in Bearland anyway. With the stadium, with the hotels, with all the amenities, that everything costs money that will go right into the pockets of the McCaskies. So the McCaskies are like, yeah, we're going to listen to this dude because he's making moves. It's not going as fast as people want, but it's only been 2 years, and these projects take time. And so the McCaskies are giving deference to Warren. And now if Poles was neutered coming in, being handed Flus and another couple names, like pick from these three as your coach. And now it's like, yo, we finally get rid of that motherfucker Flus. Now it's like I get to hire my own dude. Now Warren is coming in, taking the power from McCaskey. He's like, yeah, you'll do what I tell you to do, Ryan. And Ryan's like, you wasn't even here when I got here. Who the fuck is this? And so it's like, hey, there's just a lot of shit going on, a lot of dynamics on many different levels. And it's I'm enjoying it. Even though it's frustrating and make you mad as fuck at times, but it's entertainment.
Trips, what the name of that show that we just did the other day after the pressure? I think it said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That was a last second change of title. What it originally said was Power Struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I should have left it as, because sure enough, CHGO made a show today that said Power Struggles, exactly that. And that's what it is, man. And it's just like, man, dude, I think there's a I would just say there's probably a healthy amount of that going on in any front office in the NFL. But when it's the Bears, and when it's like, I would just say that the power dynamics seem to be pretty firm in different organizations, but they never seem really clear here, and that's a problem, man, because everybody should know their role. You know what I mean? Whatever Kevin Warren is to George McCaskey, he is. But what he is to this general manager is somebody just like, dude, just go work on your stadium, dog. I got this. I didn't really need you to step out in front of me and make this into something that it really isn't. We had a situation with a coach. We decided to move on. That should have been the end of the presser. We hired we promoted Thomas Brown to interim coach. That's it. Y'all got any questions? I'll answer a few and we out of here. This month, he had no business being there. It was just wrong. You don't step on your general manager. Like, he didn't need you to go step out there and say, Ryan Poles is our general manager moving forward. That was just basically a kick in the nuts. Basically is what it was, in an indirect way of doing it. He just kicked them in the nuts.
Yeah, or let's look at it more like he got him on a choke collar and he yanked his leash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was bogus, man. I didn't like nothing about it. You already got thin lips, man, for a black man.
Or even this, just come out and be like, yo, as president, I'm saying Ryan Poles is safe in his job, so y'all can kill that noise. Ryan, take it away. And just fade to the back. I would even be good with that if he had to be there. Which, like I say before, President Warren, he ain't never seen a microphone or a camera he didn't want to get in front of and holler at for a little bit. And so if that's the power struggles going on over there, and it's like, can we just get some football people just to do some football shit? Can y'all figure out that power struggle shit on y'all own level?
Do you not think he's a football guy at all trips?
I think he knows football people,
Yep.
but he's not a X's and O's. He doesn't strike me as a scouting kind of guy. He's a personality handshake, smile at your guy. Figured out what your motivations are, and he tries to cater to those. He's a salesman. He's a
sales guy. That's exactly what he is. He's a businessman.
Well,
At the end of the day,
here's a little something I want to entertain you guys though a little bit. Yeah. So this is a guy who I think has aspirations to one day be the commissioner of the NFL. I think this is a guy that does know football. He may not be, like an X's and O's coaches type of guy, but it's a guy who understands the sport of football and likes it. And I think that he's gonna do right with this team, and he's gonna build it, so to say, in his image, if you will. But whether that's with or without Poles, and I think he's not gonna mess up the current situation that the Bears are in. I mean, just think about that. He's in a very critical spot. And if he has those aspirations to be the commissioner of NFL, it's like, well, look what I did with the Bears. I took the quarterback of his team into, relevancy.
Let me ask you a question, Nick, before you jump out of here. Is it possible that they perceived this as a PR crisis and this was their response to it and it wasn't?
I don't really think it was a PR crisis.
We don't. We know it's not a PR crisis.
Right, they might.
I mean, probably, but this is also the Bears we're talking about. They treat the organization like a mom and pop shop, regardless of who the president is, so on and so forth. Like this was most likely a George McCaskey call, and he was just like, "Okay, we'll do it."
All right, and also before you go, dude, like Crimson is saying that Warren is a football guy. It's like, no, he's in the football realm, in the football space, in the football genre. He knows football people. But it's not like he came up playing the sport, and decided to go to law school instead or anything. Didn't he come up as a lawyer and was like, I like football. Let me get into that. And so he knows people.
You can still like it.
But there's a difference between a football guy and a guy that works in football. I think he's a guy that works in football, but he's not a football guy.
So football fans that never played football have no idea what they're talking about ever?
Well, no, I mean, he's a businessman. He's a
not
salesman. He's a businessman. He's promoting his product. He knows the ins and outs, all the nuts and bolts, the manufacturer keys of all his products. He knows people. He knows their motivations. He knows how to, bring people together for TV deals, for NIL deals. He knows how to get, different schools and all these boards to do all this and acquiesce to different leagues. He put the stadium together in Minnesota, so he understands the political aspects of his product. His product is a football team, but he's not, a guy that's going to sit down and go, it's like, what do you think about the 3-4 to 4-3? What do you think about the spread versus, the power eye? He doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. He can have those conversations because that's in his realm, but he's not going to sit down and figure out, like football shit for you. So he'll figure out how to sell tickets to the game, but not how to win the game.
Let me help you out.
You don't think he can tell a good coach from a bad coach then?
Hold on for a second.
Or
I think
a good
Crimson
player
put
from
it.
a bad player?
Hold on, Nick. I think Crimson put it in the exact words we all need to accept it in. He's an executive / he didn't say / but he said executive. I would say executive / administrator. Now, those are those kind of people in the building that handle the X's and O's of football operations. I'm talking about business operations.
Right.
And then there are those who deal with the player personnel coaching realm.
Right. Those are the football guys.
Yes, that's the difference. Go ahead, Nick.
So he knows football guys.
Yeah.
Right. But he's not a football guy per se. He knows the right football guys, maybe to
he knows the difference between a football guy, like in the sense of a good coach and a bad coach. That's the thing we have to give him credit for.
Well, but he's never done that. He's never hired a coach before. He's in all his capacities. It's been executive, administrative. Not general manager, not coach. Those are like football guy shits. He's been in the, suit and tie side of the white collar aspects of it. And so when you get to the blue collar shit, he knows how to budget for it. He knows how to do all that, but he's not that guy.
He basically, I just hope that it was all a dog and pony show from the beginning, that he felt the need to go out there and maybe they really did see it as a PR crisis. And, Kevin Warren might have been, I guess, to the McCaskies, the best person in the building, go out there and put out a fire, right? Maybe they thought it was a fire. And it really wasn't. It was just the first time they've done something.
Well, no, it's more than just what they thought, because remember, this was Thanksgiving weekend. And Flus at the press conference, what was that, Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
Day after Black Friday, Saturday. And it was early, like 11 a.m. So this is a holiday weekend. No players are in the building. Everybody's with their families. But George is in Halas Hall for 2 hours, meeting with Warren, meeting with Poles. Now, I'm sure part of that time was spent talking about the plans going forward, with Brown. But part of that time, somebody was a dissenting voice in the room against getting rid of Flus. Because what would take so goddamn long? If everybody's in agreement, it's like, 10 minutes, we good. And we on Saturday or the holiday anyway, but it's 2 hours. Somebody is arguing for Flus's retention. And it's like, is that George, trying to retain his last grip of power? And is that just Warren sitting back like, yeah, go ahead, George. But when it comes down to it, I already made a deal with Poles. And so I got, a little bit of his nuts already. It's like, so that shit happened. I know that shit happened.
So, Kedz, you've been awful quiet. What say you, man?
Look, I don't know, man. I don't know what to call it. First thing to say is this is just the way the Bears, where it was going to be here, right? It was just they screwed it up to begin with, and here we are. My guy's taking over the reins. Ryan Poles is sort of left, trying to figure out where he stands in this organization. You guys really, honestly, I want to share George McCaskey's Twitter. I really do.
Let me, when you get done, let me pull this down for you. When you get done talking, maybe we can do that. But Let me.
I'm just saying, like, the reason being is like his Twitter, his timeline of this stuff. He's been tweeting and responding to just about all kinds of stuff.
Because Minister Charles is telling me that his sources are telling him that it's some officialness to it.
I think it is. I think it's legit. There's some legit pictures and stuff of George. It looks legit to me. It's just the timeline of events that I see happening. The game was game was on the 28th. After the game, Sports Talk with TJ says that basically they're gonna have a meeting.
Hold on
on Friday to fire him, and they're saying,
pull it up. Let me get it off. Let me get this off. Go ahead and pull up whatever you need to pull up, and let everybody just see it, and then you can read it. Kedz is pulling up a screen. All right, get it as big as you can. That's as big as you can.
That's what she said.
All right, we'll just start with this particular tweet here. So, TJ, hearing Bears front office is wanting to meet tonight, if not early morning, to make a final decision on Eberflus. They're worried that if they keep him any longer, the locker room will start turning on each other after the clear shots at Eberflus in the presser by multiple players. This is 100% false, says a certain George McCaskey. Just interesting. Timing, November 28th. Another little report from FanDuel. Just going to get this out ahead of it here. Just going to get out ahead of it here from FanDuel Sports. Matt Eberflus, fired. And they're kidding, obviously. George McCaskey. This is 100% false. George, once again, that's right after the game. It is with great regret that Matt Eberflus has been relieved of his duties the following day. He basically follows this entire narrative through.
Just read the quote. This will determine whether or not this is really George.
I will. It is with great regret that Matt Eberflus has been relieved of his coaching duties effective 9 a.m. this morning. We would like to thank Matt and his family for his contributions to the Chicago Bears organization and wish them nothing but the best moving forward. George. That's on November 29th. That's the following day.
Anything else?
There's actually a lot. Any coach that enables the degeneration of a past Heisman Trophy winner will not be considered as the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. Who do you think he's talking about here?
I don't know.
He happened to be in the picture you just had up.
What was the date on that one?
That one is dated. That one is dated December 1st. He's clearly that's a clear shot at. Oh snap! That's it. Okay, so that's definitely a clear shot at Kliff Kingsbury.
Right.
Okay, so that's who that's a shot at. I'm just thinking about if there's anybody else who's failed with a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, but Kyler Murray, Kliff Kingsbury, he's saying that's not going to be the guy. So there's a little bit of a thumbs up considering the two guys you were worried about. So now it's Ben Johnson or bust in his mind, and he runs the show. Very proud of this young man.
How much credibility do you want to lend to this, man?
It looks very credible, bro.
And
like I'm trying to,
I don't know. It looks like a lot of drama. You know, George is kind of goofy. Where's all the goofy shit posts?
Well, also, Minister Charles says some media sources around Halas Hall that says it's real. I like to know who they were.
Here's some goofy stuff today. George McCaskey outdid himself. Showed up at my home with my dear friend, the producer of my play, When Harry Met Rehab, and Don Cameron. Like, this is just hokey stuff. He's got a little picture. There's a couple other retweets I wanted to find here.
You got no going out getting like vanilla ice cream at 2 a.m.
I didn't. I haven't dug that deep into this, but I did see one with respect to Greg Braggs Jr. Listen, I hate ownership as much as the next guy. Listen, I hate ownership as much as the next guy. This organization doesn't deserve our trust. But people writing off Thomas Brown simply because of George McCaskey isn't fair to Thomas Brown. Thomas Brown should have been the OC. I'm not going to read the whole Braggs situation, but George,
he should have been the hire in the first place.
That's basically what Greg's saying. George is saying hate is a strong word, Greg. Don't say it unless you mean it, and if you mean it, karma has a way. All right. Dave Kaplan, I'm impressed and hopeful with the new Bears vibes at Halas Hall. This is coming straight from the Cap. I couldn't agree more. Thanks, the Cap Man.
This seems like it's easy enough that any one of these media members be like, "Hey, George, is that you on Twitter?"
Mm-hmm.
Just that simple.
What's Twitter? They'll say.
Yeah.
So let's make some hay out of this shit, man. So basically,
my razor. I don't have a smartphone.
Kedz basically interpreted one of the tweets as a hell no to Cliff Kingsbury, right? That's what he interpreted it. I could see where you would be, how you can jump to that conclusion, definitely. Second thing is Ben Johnson. Also, I would just say this: I'm not going to take no shots against Ben Johnson. All I'm gonna say is, the scheme and how many points our teams are scoring and how well an offense is doing. I don't think, and it just goes back to, if you can pull that down, kids, right quick. That just goes to really the personnel that you have. That really does. It goes to the personnel that you have and how well this thing was put together from the beginning. I'm telling you guys, and I've said this enough times to make myself puke. You can get enamored with an offensive coordinator. You can get enamored with a defensive coordinator, any of them. But what you really need to pay attention to is how they do things. Is it really something that's unique? Is it something different? No, I'm talking about from the standpoint of Ben Johnson. Nothing new under the sun with his scheme. What makes that thing work is the offensive line, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
And what makes Brian Flores not so special? He runs a cover zero blitz. Okay. People have figured that shit out. And he hasn't had much of a retort after they figured it out. And, I don't see him being, just this guy that's going to come in and just make this team better.
It is. I think people will be wise to, and I'm gonna say this one more time for the Super Nomaniacs, the Nomaniacs, and anybody else that can hear my voice. I'm A-okay with everybody's point of view. I'm super good with it. All we have to do is express our very strong points of view.
Oh, I got a strong point of view right now about Mr. Johnson's post up there.
Go ahead.
Make me want to touch myself. Getting ready to brush these wings that he just fried up with his homemade garlic honey BBQ sauce. And put them under the broiler for 5 minutes at 500 degrees. Let them get all caramelized. Maybe get a little burnt tips. A little crust. I'm
thinking that my girlfriend's off tomorrow, man. I'm thinking about, she usually don't really oppose to wings, but lately she's been having acid reflux problems, and I gotta watch how I make wings for her. She don't like, she was really like the Buffalo Wild Wings, the spicy garlic, that and those mango habanero joints up in there, man, she'll probably run me over and leave me for dead just to get to 12 of those. I'm telling you, but she won't eat them right now. That's how strong acid reflux has been in her right now, man. So, man, look out
her boo-boo.
Huh?
That shit burn her boo-boo.
Nah, it doesn't go that way. It comes out the other way, up front, man. She's just like, she can't stand it, man. But anyway, man, that sounds good, Minister Charles. But let me just reiterate, everybody's opinion is welcome. This is just our strong-ass point of view on everything, man. So don't take nothing personal, none of it, man. Keep your opinions coming, man. We respect all of it. One more thing about this before we move to the next subject. Especially when it comes to Ben Johnson, man, I'm just telling you, unless that guy can bring that offensive line with him, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, it's going to look real like we just fucked around and did the wrong shit by bringing this guy. It's just really plain stuff that he does. They just do it well. I'm just warning you guys. Everybody thinks because they're successful right now, he can come over here and immediately implant success over here. No, we need pieces, dude. We need pieces, and it might take a couple years to get him if you bring in a new offensive coordinator, because you're going to get a new system. Caleb's going to have to relearn that. The veterans on the team going to get pissed off because fuck another goddamn system. He's going to have it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And at first, everybody's going to celebrate it. Everybody's going to be all happy about it. And that's just going to be the way it is until you don't get the results that you're looking for. When you got a coach in here that's really making strides with the guy you got in here, you don't really want to fuck with that. And so we're going to see if they can continue to take steps in the direction we know they need to go with this interim coach, man. But here's another situation that I truly want to avoid for my own. This is my own opinion, and I'll let these guys tell me theirs. Everything from the Patriots dynasty, guys. Everything from the Patriots dynasty. Now we'll give a little partial pass to Mike Vrabel because he's maintained. He did what he needed to do when he was in Tennessee. They weren't great, but they were okay.
Yeah,
but that was it. That was just okay. But all this stuff about old ass Bill Belichick, he will come in here and tear this whole thing down just to rebuild it in the shape and the form that he wants. And that's going to take a few years. I don't want Josh McDaniels nowhere in the area code. Fuck that dude, man. Fuck that dude. He's just a fucking, I don't want nothing to do with him.
I think it's been established he's not a head coach in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I can't say that he's a bad offensive coordinator. He's not. He's actually a pretty decent one. It's pretty simplistic at the end of the day, but he's a pretty decent OC. Please God, no, not a head coach. Should not do it. People hate him. Players hate him. It's been established. Don't do that. Hoodie here, like, you know what I mean? He's old as dirt. I'm not interested in him as a coach for the Bears. I would much rather him in that, like, put it all together football guy role that we were just discussing Kevin Warren sort of fell into. That's, to me, I think Bill Belichick would fit that role much better than Kevin Warren. Just saying. If Kevin Warren is out there building stadiums, cool. Bring in a guy like Bill, have him be that guy moving forward for the Bears. I don't mind that. But I don't think he I don't think he needs to be a head coach at this point in his career.
Yeah, shit. Looking at these three pictures, it's like no, and no.
I don't mind Vrabel, though. Vrabel's all right.
Vrabel's he's all right. He's okay. Maybe for defensive coordinator, but that's about it. Well,
I think he's got balls enough to, like, at least make his impression felt, which to me I think is very important. That's where Mike Vrabel sort of stands out for me.
But it seems as though in Tennessee, they lost that love and feeling and just kind of tuned him out. He couldn't win with Derrick Henry in that running game, and a decent defense that they did have. He just was like, meh, as a leader. We saw what McDaniels did out there in Vegas, and it's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? How do these assholes get coaching jobs out here? Where's my resume? God damn it! And then Belichick. He's just kind of like, yeah, I'm banging this little 24-year-old thing, so I don't give a fuck. You want to hire me? All right, but I run this shit. I'm going to tell you how much I get paid because, I got rings and shit, so whatever. And it's like, yeah, all three of y'all can go on with that bullshit. Keep it stepping. Keep it moving. Kick rocks, as they say.
you know, Trips, I heard a lot of, and this is true in most cases. Now, and this is just me giving Vrabel a part. Build a great defense, man, solid ass defense. Kevin Byard was a huge ass part of it. The pieces that they had were great. Solid offense, really solid. They played enough to win games, and in most cases, this is true. And you guys I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but maybe they got the quarterback wrong. Maybe he wasn't the right quarterback.
Who was it, Tannehill?
Tannehill. Maybe you think that might be true in the case of Vrabel.
But they had Derrick Henry. Just give him the ball. Shit. It don't matter who the quarterback is. You know, it could be, didn't they have a Flacco there for a minute too, or Flacco or somebody? But whoever the quarterback was, they didn't have to do any beyond the ordinary shit to play ball. Just hand the ball off to Henry, run play action. You know, that's all you had to do and play defense. But they could never get over the hump. And Vrabel, I can never say his name right. Vrabel was always had that dumbass look on the sidelines like, we need to do this, we need to do that. And it's like, well, they ain't doing that, homie. And he never could figure out how to get him to do it. At least to me.
Well, to Black Diamond's point, man, you know, I partially agree with that, man. He might have been a quarterback away from the Super Bowl with Tannehill. Tannehill did cost him in some pivotal games. I can remember a time or two in a couple of different seasons in a playoff run. It was one too many picks, you know, just throwing the ball away. It's just he's like Kirk Cousins when it comes to the playoffs. That's what it started to look like in Tennessee after a while. And I do believe your quarterback not making you can let's just say there's opportunities to make plays during games when you're in a playoff situation that you could either make them or not, right? But if you give the ball away, that's absolutely going to defeat your chances. You got to make pivotal plays. If you don't make them, then you throw the ball away, dirt that thing, but don't hurt your team. And in times when they really needed it, he did kind of shit the bed, to be honest, kids. And to me, that's been the knock on Ryan Tannehill since his last couple of years in Tennessee, man. He just couldn't get over the hump. The team was built right. The team was built right on both sides of the ball, man. They had it right in the trenches. They had it right everywhere. They just, for whatever reason, Ryan Tannehill wasn't enough to get them over the hump.
Well, such is life. I'm not the biggest. I don't know, man. These three guys don't impress me really. They're not really the three guys I want for this job. I'll be frank there. I don't have much to talk about by way of Vrabel or anything more to say about Billy or his partner there, man. I don't like any of these guys. You can throw Matt Patricia on that mix too. I don't want to see him here either.
Yeah,
I don't see any of these guys over here. This is a great slide, but
yeah. I don't want nothing to do with this Patriots dynasty. I think they still have some semblance of enamor, man, because they won a lot. They got rings, and these guys were a part of it. Whether it was Vrabel as a player, as an assistant, Bill, of course, orchestrating the whole thing. But that asshole in the front, I bet not see him in the area code. I don't want him nowhere near this organization because all he's done is fuck up everywhere he's gone, man. And, you know, I just hear a lot of people talking about this, and I think it goes to, you know, the fan base and people in the media. People are still enamored by that whole Patriots thing. Number one, Bill Belichick's a cheat. Number one. Number two, it's going to take a long time for him to build what he will want as a team on this. And I don't think the fan base can take that. It's that they're going to go crazy watching Bill tear this motherfucker down and rebuild it with a quarterback that's going to be struggling the whole time because it's going to be new stuff. That I think people, that shiny new toy syndrome, I'm telling you, is so rampant every 3 years with this organization and the fan base that it's almost, you know, us being podcasters now, fellas, I'm glad that we have a say-so in it so we can put some energy behind it. You know, I really wish people would just really, really think about what they're asking for and really think about the ramifications and what it's going to take to build an organization the way maybe some of these guys might want it to look. We spend a lot of time putting together the capital that we have and the pieces that we have. Why would you want to, throw that out? Why? Find somebody that's aligned with what you're doing and can keep going, keep what you got going. To me, that's the best way to go, Kedz and Trips.
Well, the latest thing is let's trade away a couple top end picks for Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan from San Fran.
Oh my God. Are you
get the fuck out of here, y'all. Y'all put that pipe down. Leave that crack alone. It's like, no, we don't need to be doing all that. Relax.
Think about it. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's just say, and by the way, I just wanted to put it out there. I was looking at something today, and Adam Schefter, and I trust his reporting, and he's saying there neither John Lynch nor Kyle Shanahan is going anywhere.
Right.
And so go ahead, y'all keep on with that pipe dream all you want. But I mean, even if it was a situation where you would have to trade, is there any coach out there on the planet worth giving up a couple firsts and shit for a coach? Think of one. Give me one.
In Denver, they're pretty happy with Peyton, and they gave us.
Peyton's working out beautifully over there. I'll be frank with you. This is the only situation where I would consider doing that crazy thing you just mentioned, Trip. I would consider it. It's worth a conversation to me, depending on what type of compensation you're really giving away to make this thing actually occur. I also hate the idea.
The first round pick next year and first round pick after that. Two first rounds.
No, I also hate the San Francisco 49ers because of that fleecing originally, and I'd hate to give them anything for it. But Shanny coaches the type of football we want coached here. He knows what he's doing. He is the closest thing to a Chicago Bears coach. I think everybody can agree with that exists in the NFL. I think he's the closest. If you really think about it, he's young, offensive guy, and his defenses year on year are stellar. Everybody on his defensive squad just goes and takes over a team by themselves. Rather, forget it. Not to say that they're doing well after that, but them defenses are pretty square. The Bears are about defense. Oh, yeah. He loves to run the football. Spend a bunch of money on a running back. Anyways, I'm just saying that guy screams Chicago Bears to me. And I know it's crazy, but
I
really hope they fire his ass. I really hope they're sick and tired of him, man, because, boy.
It's just the media. It ain't the team, man. They know better. It's like the core group of the guys that they had a good thing going. They just didn't win it for whatever reasons. A lot of different reasons for that. I think they know that they have a good GM and a good head coach that can really retool this thing and get it back where it needs to be. Number one, I think they got the wrong quarterback, and that's number one. And just some of the older pieces that are getting a lot of money, they're gonna have to, in the offseason, let them things go, man, and get back in the draft and get some younger pieces that don't cost as much, because they did set it up in these last 3 years in particular that they were willing to go over the salary cap to make sure that this team was fortified, and come playoff time and the situation presents itself, we got the dogs there to get us over the hump, but it didn't work. And so what you got to do is you got to let some of that old, they got good money into some of these guys, but you got to be willing to let it go and get back in the draft and retool this thing. And they can do it.
I don't know if they can, and that's exactly why you might want to blow it up, right? Like, you might want to blow it up now with all those high contracts. Get out of, just like we did. Get out of all those high contracts while you can, so that you can basically set up a tank situation that gets you in line to get a quarterback. Because if they continue down the line that they're continuing on, they're going to be drafting really late in the draft moving forward, and it's going to be tough getting that QB spot filled, right? So,
do they want to keep Purdy around for that contract where he gets paid, or do they want to keep him around long enough where, like Kedz was saying, get rid of that aging, expensive defense and aging, expensive offensive line, then retool around that, and then draft a new quarterback and just start fresh.
Yeah, it's not. I think they got core pieces, but like some of the guys like Debo, they probably need to get rid of the tight end, and I mean, I'm talking about so that they can have the capital to go into the draft and pick some nice pieces to really get. Yeah, you got to get some pieces, man, and it's. Yeah,
Well, they need the CMC can't stay healthy. They need offensive line help. They need all kind of defensive help. And, they just paid Ayuk, who is out for the rest of the year. So, they got a lot of money tied up that they're not going to get back. So they got to go into the negative to clean up that salary cap situation, because there is no, pushing future shit back into bonuses. They ain't got that kind of money for the expenditures that they get out there. So they got to make some hard decisions now.
So let me get this off too, man, because I fucked around and said, is there any coach in the world on the planet that you'd be willing to give up a couple of firsts for and maybe some later round picks? And I heard Mike Tomlin. I'm still seeing him in here. Let me see, Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid. Somebody else might have said another one. Peyton, I think, was being said. But think about that. Think about it.
McVay.
Huh? McVay. Think about if we actually did that to get one of those guys in here. How many Bears fans you would see on the Dan Ryan Expressway just lighting themselves on fire, lit with just soaking themselves in kerosene and just striking a match to it. Just, they would just fucking lose it.
Wow.
You mean in a good way or a bad way?
Oh, it's the worst way.
In a bad way, in some sort of negative connotation. I couldn't, I wouldn't put him out, because like at the end of the day, I don't know. I would hate to use any type of capital like that for a coach. That's terrible.
Look at what Crimson said, kids. Look at what Crimson said. That should be the icing on the cake right there. It would slow down being able to fix the trend.
About that simple. About that simply put, we're gonna have a hard time filling the holes we've identified. Very hard time. It would cripple us. He's right. There's no questions there. I'd hate to do it.
But this is what I warned you guys on the last show would happen. Not only are the people in the media, I'm talking about reporters, but other podcasters, and we part of the podcaster family. But they were gonna take this thing and run and just, what about this? What about that? What about trading for two firsts and 2 seconds for a coach? Man, get the fuck out of here. When does that even make any kind of sense? We cannot afford it. You're damn right, Crimson. We need too many things to be trading for a fucking coach. I mean, I don't care how good they are. We neither have the personnel or the capital to be doing that shit. We don't have a built team yet. Like if we had built pieces inside the building, like we had everything covered, and we just need a coach to get us over the hump, then we talking. But you can't go into this conversation knowing that you got pretty much you got one offensive lineman and a bunch of cans of corn. How the fuck are you gonna fix that when you're giving away first rounders? Don't make sense. So I mean, you guys watch all the podcasts you want, but I'm just not going to entertain myself with some of that crazy. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But let's get to this conversation, gentlemen. I think what we have inside the building, and I'm going to talk about reasons why, it's not going to be anything new that you all haven't heard. But what I have to say about this is, and we'll start with the quarterback. Number one, Trips and Kedz, I fear. This is a strong fear of mine. I mean, my instincts really, really like tickle me right now thinking about this. Taking this guy out of the equation with the surging Caleb Williams and starting him all over with a new system come next year is going to really cripple his growth. I know he said a whole bunch of shit at the presser today. I thought that was bullshit. he knows deep down if they bring in somebody else and he has to learn an entire new system after he's surging with this guy right here, it's going to slow him down. It's going to really slow him down. And not only that, think about the ramifications from a DJ Moore who would be having to learn his third system since he's been here. Think about that. I mean, you paid that guy a lot of money. Cole Kmet paid that guy a lot of money. Jalen Johnson on the defensive side of the ball. They know that we will run into a wall at some point bringing in a new system and a new coach. They know what's eventually going to happen. It's going to be a struggle, and we're going to be disappointed again. And I'm sick and tired of Chicago running into that problem. This shit ain't that difficult. If this guy doesn't completely shit the bed and they don't get no wins and only get 1 or 2, then he's opened himself up for some criticism, right? But if he comes out there and they kill it, why the fuck are we having this conversation, gentlemen? That's all I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, look at the picture you got up there. You got Paul's, what is that, soul patch? Is that what you call that thing under his chin? Then you got, the full facial beard with the goatee, with the brown. It's like, yeah, facial hair people unite. I ain't one of y'all, but I ain't mad at you. Whatever. It's itchy as fuck or whatever.
Oh,
but yeah.
You get used to it, Doc.
Oh, no, hell, they ain't no getting used to that shit.
Oh, no, I'm telling you.
I can't do it.
Baby faces around here. Baby faces.
But yeah, I mean, I want to see Thomas Brown succeed with, the offense with the head coaching position, namely because if we have to bring in another OC and Caleb has to learn another offense, Caleb, Carl, his daddy, and his team are going to be like, yo, these Bears, they on some bullshit. How long before we can request a trade? And they out of there. And then it's like, now what we going to do? Because remember, we got to not keep them happy, not placate, but we have to keep our quarterback somewhat engaged with what's happening with the offensive coordinator, whoever that may be. And if it's the head coach, cool. But we can't just be like, well, let's go get Vrabel. Let's go get one of these other assholes. And then they'll bring in their own OC. And then now, like Nomad saying, we got a whole nother system that the offense has got to learn and figure out and get on the same page with. And, it's like, ain't nobody got time for all that. So if Brown can utilize Waldron's offense, which he has been doing, just how he calls the plays with whatever tweaks that he's made, give him an off season to incorporate more of his dynamic into the offense and less of Waldron's instead of, utilizing Waldron's. And so it's not a new OC. It's just an evolution of the playbook, let's say. And if he's got, Williams looking as good as he does, making these second half adjustments to whatever the defense is doing, and then Williams is good enough to protect the ball and, and be decisive and pinpoint with the accuracy with it, there's no reason to say, hey, we need to bring in another guy. It's like, no, I mean, Brown has proven his shit. And it's like you roll with that. So if it doesn't look that good, or if the team loses, but the offense is like scoring 35 points a game, you still keep them. It's like, hey, if the defense is giving up points, all right, Washington, you had your opportunity, but, deuces. Whatever. But I want Brown to succeed, basically. And I'm not poo-pooing any of those other coaches in favor of Brown. I just am poo-pooing those other coaches because they are poo-poo.
But Trips, tell them what it is about them. Like, I think you are very, because most creative people, and you are creative, man, and I'm creative.
True.
And we really, most creative people tend to lean into their instincts, right? And instinctively, what is it about Thomas Brown that really sticks out to you?
Well, just from the fact of how he was hired, the way the news trickles out of Halas Hall, I don't know. But Brown was not a Waldron, on his coaching staff that he brought with him. And Brown was not a Flus bring in, even though Flus tried to claim he was after the fact. But, that's come some of that Flus shit. But it looks like Poles saw something in Brown to say, hey, I want you on my team. And when, Flus shits the bed, we're going to elevate you up to OC. Or if Waldron, I don't think they expected Waldron to shit the bed so soon, but more so Flus. So Flus, shits the bed. You've got the assistant head coach experience in LA. I like your steez, the way you get down, the players follow you. Not only did he make the connection with Caleb in the offense, but he's got the respect of the defensive players. And, just his relatability, his down-to-earthness, his willingness to accept accountability and to say, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm going to figure this shit out. We're going to do it together. If we make mistakes, we're going to learn from it. We're going to move on, but we're going to be physical. We're going to be violent. We're going to be smart, and we're going to, play our ass off to win. And, you say shit like that. It's like, all right, it's kind of coach speak, but down to earth. And, he's getting his point across. There's no confusion and no goddamn riddles. It's like, well, what's up your sleeve? Oh, shut the fuck up. And so, I want to see this guy succeed, but I have the intuition to use that word. It's like, there's something about this guy is not yet. He's a head coach candidate, just ready to be hired, as opposed to it's like, yeah, that coach sucks, or that coach sucks, or yeah, this dude don't know what he's talking about, or he can fire him up, but he's not this kind of guy. Brown seems to have the whole toolbox of necessity to be a head coach. He can handle the offense. We've seen that. He can handle the media. We got a little taste of that. We'll see what happens after adversity and all that. And as time goes on, he can communicate with the fan base. He can communicate with the players. He can communicate with his upperlings because, that's how he got hired. And that's why he's the acting OC now, as he started the season as, passing game coordinator. So that's, ascension for your ass right there. So, he knows the game as he's played the game. So, he just seems like all around quality candidate for the job.
So let me take this down for a second and put up something else. Give me a second, fellas. I'm gonna put this back on the screen. Hold on. Give me a second while I'm pulling it up. Present, share screen. I just wanted to see, I want people to see what he looks like out there. I just wanted to, there's a couple of pictures they put on the website, the Bears put on the website. So this is a good shot right here. Hold on. This shot right here. He looks like he's, I heard, I was watching a podcast. I think it was 670. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
He just looks like, I was looking at a podcast. I think it was Kyle Long on it. And he was praising him, how he's got the Letterman jacket on, and he looks like a coach, man. And this, I just strongly believe that all some people need is an opportunity. I really, really strongly believe that. Like this guy he's got that written all over him. Like, just put me in, coach. Just put me in. Let me do this thing. I can show you. He's been around the right people. You know what I mean? He's been around the right people, been influenced by the right people. And I think us looking for that shiny new toy and the fan base going along with it, I don't think it does. But number one, it does Caleb the right service he deserves, man. And all that stuff Tripp just said about, at some point, with all the dysfunction going on around here, no stability, no consistency, I wouldn't blame him for saying, you know what, come next year, we're going through this shit again, man, trade me the fuck out of here. Trade me the fuck out of here, because they ain't going to get it right around here. Because the wrong people making choices. I look back at an interview, I think it was a presser, like coming into the season when they hired, I think coming into training camp, when they hired Thomas Brown and that crew of people that they hired. And I looked at the smile, I looked at the look on Ryan Poles' face when he brought up Thomas Brown. Just go back and look at it. Anybody can go back and look at it. And I'm telling you, and Ryan Poles, I believe he did leak this out earlier this week, saying that, because Flus went out there and tried to claim that, I'm the one that brought this guy here. I recruited him. And I think Poles put the story out that, no. I'm the one that put this down. No, you didn't. You know what I mean? So I'm just one for, I think this guy's got something to him that you can't really buy. You can't really coach, teach. It's just something in you. And the fact that he was a player and he's a dog-ass player, this is the dude you need in the building, man. And I think you give him every bit of rope he needs, man, and just let him go, man. Just let him go, man. I'm going to campaign hard for Thomas Brown. I'm not going to disrespect him. I'm going to campaign for Thomas.
I'd be so a little sarcastic. I want the best for the Chicago Bears, so I ain't riding anybody until we get there. But right now, this guy's doing all the right stuff. He's saying all the right stuff. Looks the part, smells the part. At this point, the proof is in the pudding. Let's just fast forward and cut to the chase. Proof is in the pudding, man. So as much as I sat here and I said that W's isn't really going to be the linchpin for me when it comes down to all this stuff with Thomas Brown and the rest of these guys, but it might be for the fan base, right? So you need to crush this losing streak dead on Sunday. That's job one there, Mr. Brown. That's job one. If you're able to do that on Sunday, people will take notice. You know what I'm saying? That's job one. If he's able to flip that switch and get these guys to play for him and play hard, play themselves into a win against San Francisco 49ers, that's a great start to the Thomas Brown era. And then let's see what happens from there. Let's continue that on to the rest of the games, extend that out. So you can get yourself a couple of W's, bro. That's really what will make you shine. Other things that'll make you shine.
You know what, kids? The last thing the guys on the field that have contracts that are going to be here for a couple, 2-3 years, the last thing they want to hear is more change.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. They the ones that have to go out there and put the product on the fucking field. They got to play. Their morale means something.
I know, but like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, get the best guy in the building. Let's find out who the best guy. If Thomas Brown is the best guy, if Eric Washington is the best guy beside him, if that's the best thing going in football, they should win 5 straight games here. I'm not so sure that's going to be the case. So you got to give them the opportunity for failure and to be assessed effectively, right? So that's why I love the opportunity that he's been given. And I love this audition that he's in the midst of, right? I think this is perfect. I didn't want this to go any other way. Now we're smack in the middle of it. Let's watch what happens. Let's see where he can take this, because if he can't take it here, we're going to find out. And maybe we have to move on and find somebody else. So I don't want you to get your heart stuck on a guy right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little early in the process.
I'm going to, and I do make bold predictions. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to mean it. I got a feeling that this team is going to really, really rally behind this dude's leadership, his energy, and they're going to go smack motherfuckers up. How many wins they get out of it, but I think it's going to be the tone and the tenor of how they play for this guy is going to be definitive. I'm pretty goddamn sure about. I think
That's
this dude is people with him, and whatever happens. I'm not going to give you a win-loss record. I'm going to tell you that these motherfuckers are going to go out there and they're going to play like their ass off, and they're going to scrape motherfuckers up. And so I think just because of this guy, and because they don't want the change that we sitting here having all this discussion about, I think they're going to rally behind, and and like what he does, man. And he's gonna make a strong fucking case to keep this job. That's just my opinion. But while we've been talking, FFG could not hold it back no more and had to get in here. Let me get you up, man. Hold on.
Yeah, what up, fellas?
What's up, FFG?
Stop that screen. Hold on, let me see. All right, you in here, man. So FFG, you've been hearing all this. Just be quick about it. I know you got a lot to say. Just be quick about it. But what really made you say, all right, man, I got to get in here?
Well, I like what y'all been talking about, number one, and all the different options. I really think Thomas Brown does have the best option right now because he can show and prove today how the Bears are going to be. So regardless of who's out there, they're going to have to come in and make their own pitch. His pitch is going to be seen in the field for the next 5 weeks. So he has the inside track, and I want to see what he can do with the team. And I want to see how well they respond because it looks like the players are responding to him a way they didn't respond to Flus. And so we shall see what kind of effort we get on the field on Sunday, Monday night, and then the rest of the division games that we have. So we're probably not going to make the playoffs. I ain't predicting nothing like that, but I predict the effort going to be there.
So I don't think we can make the playoffs given the numbers, but
mathematically we're not out of it, but it's a very small chance.
That's some awesome math. I guess math is something, but like there's other stuff out there that can be done to, again, in my mind, really secure. Put the icing on the cherry on top, icing on the cake, all that good stuff, gravy. Some of them records for Caleb. Right, he already hit a couple of. He's hit a couple of rookie milestones. There are a few other rookie milestones that he could potentially hit as well. If those things are on the horizon throughout the next 5 games, closer you are to helping him get to those plateaus, the better. Right, like he could set the record for passing as a Chicago Bear quarterback. That's not out of the realm. It's a very low bar, guys. Like it's not a very high bar. It's a relatively low bar. He could do it. And if that's something that happens under Thomas Brown, that's a conversation starter, right? I get it. I'm not really, it's not so much that I care about the records either, but these are accolades that Thomas Brown can hang his hat on, right? I helped this quarterback under my purview, secured these accolades. These are things that he can talk about as well as wins.
So Trips, I don't know if you got to see this, man, but you want to let Mr. Charles piss you off a little bit. Here you go. He said he got
them shrimps.
He said he got them garlic lemon pepper shrimp, garlic honey barbecue wings, and crinkle fries with a little bit of slap your mama on them up.
Yeah, that sounds pretty scrumptious. You are missing like where's the coleslaw, potato salad. You need, you know, you need a little something like that. And then you got some white bread or some wheat bread or something. And then like some Kool-Aid. Wash that shit down.
He said he got an A&W zero sugar to wash that shit.
Hey, that's good. That's good. But see, I fucks with A&W, but I need some ice cream now. I need some of that vanilla bean and then pour some of that A&W up in there. You know what I mean? You got to with the A&W.
All right, man. You know what, Mr. Charles? Damn, man. All right.
But Mr. Charles, would it kill you to open up a goddamn can of green beans? You know what I'm saying? Need some kind of veggie up in there. You know what I'm saying?
Just to brighten up the plate, Oh man, that's too funny. I made a nice minestrone today. That's what I did.
Look, man, I am not done. I'm not done making my case for Mr. Thomas Brown. I am going to continue, and I think he's going to go out there in these last 5 weeks and prove me right about my instincts about him. And we'll get to see a different Bears team play with some juice, man, and have the defensive coordinator who isn't getting a whole lot of conversation right now. We can talk about that later. I just want to see him get his hands on the steering wheel and see what kind of defense he dials up, what he does about that run fit, because the next thing we're going to talk about is exactly that. And that is this guy right here. This guy right here. This is what we're going to have to deal with here. So who is this? This is Isaac Guerrero. He's a number 3 back in San Francisco. And me and the producer, Nick, was talking about this pre-show. And what do I have to say about Isaac Guerrero? You can see his weight, 6 foot 221. He's a thumper.
Yep.
42 carries, 246 yards, not a lot. 2 TDs, 5.9 yard average. I think that's the most important stat right there, the 5.9 yard average, right? The fact that here's the bottom line, kids, before I pass it to you. This is San Francisco. It's just like running back by committee. Next man up, he's going to gash you too. Why? Because they have the offensive line to get it done. And the way they block it up, this guy is going to be a problem if we don't fit this run the right way. Kids?
Oh, I thought you were asking like a question. You just left it there. Okay. Yeah, he's a major responsibility this week with everybody hurt in San Francisco. So this week we got to stop the run. That's basically what we got to do. We had a heck of a time stopping that run in the first half last week, and then we somehow did it the second half of the week. I'm pretty sure we can handle this guy. I'm just not so sure we can handle their O-line. Yeah, I mean, you kind of laid it down the way that it was, and that's just how it's going to be. So I don't – that's going to be the tail of the tape this week. Can they stop Isaac Guerrero? I think they can. I'm just not sure if they can prevent gaping holes being created by that offensive line.
Because there are deficiencies within the defensive line, especially missing Billings.
Billings.
But this is the opportunity for Coach Washington, to be like, yo, I know how to stop the run, how to plug up these run holes, how to get defense in line and ready to play from kickoff of the game and not just the second half. So, he's the backup to the backup to the backup guy. But the way that this team had been getting gashed in the run, it don't matter if he's a top line starter or a backup because they was just giving it up to anybody and everybody, bend but don't break and all that bullshit. But, this Guerrero, 6 feet, 220, that's a load coming at you, 10, 15 times a game or, however many times. Or if they got the good block up and the good cutback lanes or, whatever, they can gash a team. And this team has been gashed. Same players, different defensive coordinator. Let's see if that makes a difference. And the Super No Maniacs out here, who was it? Crimson talking about his mom says put that ice cream and grape soda and call that a purple cow. That's cool. That's cool. Or you get you some sherbet and some orange like Sunkist and get you make you an orange Julius. Or some sherbet and 7-Up, rather, or sherbet and Sprite, or vanilla and orange pop for the orange.
Shut up, man. What's wrong with you, man? I just ate food, dog, and I'm hungry now. I just ate food. I was like, orange Julius, damn.
Orange Julius. While we talk about food, let me pull this down. So
Orange Julius is so long, dog. I'm like, oh.
All right.
Man.
Why y'all talking about?
I need something to drink. I'm coming back, man. Y'all killed me.
Hey, let me real quick. So, Nomad, with what you're saying about this kid, he's a hammer. He really is, and they block well. So this is where I expect Washington, with his hybrid defense, to be able to have basically a 3-4 shell, and now you can use the great defensive ends to close off, because they're more athletic on the move standing up, and you're going to have to use your safety and you're going to have to play 1-on-1 in the back end, or 3-on-2, you know what I'm saying? And then you're going to have your nickel play well against the slot, which is probably going to be Kittle. So Kyler Gordon is going to have to improve this week. Or he's got to come up and make tackles because they all block on the run, all of them. So you really need to go after the run to get to Purdy to make him throw quicker so you can get them interceptions. Because if you sit back with the four they run normally, you can get ran on, and then you're going to get that play action that's going to kill you. Because that's what they do. They run, play action, and hitting the downfield. So you stop that, we got them.
All right. Anything else about Isaac Guerrero? I think this is going to be the name that we all need to be paying attention to, because if we stop them on the ground and we at least slow them, and how you do that, I think he's going to have to dial up on certain downs and distances, some run blitzes to get penetration and get in there and disrupt the timing and the flow of what they're trying to do. Really, that's the only way to really stop these guys, is to really, because that zone scheme that they run is a lot of moving offensive line one way to the other, and that running back flowing and then cutting back and finding that backside lane. That's just what they do, and they do it fucking well. And that sets up everything that they do. And how do you do that? How do you counter that? You got to send the run blitz at the right time. You got to send the linebacker, you got to send the corner, you got to send the safety at the right time to get in there and get up. And maybe, hopefully, you can get some penetration by one of your interior tackles to really break up the flow of what they want to do. That's really the only way to stop it, other than, you just really put 8-9 in a box the whole game and just say, Brock Purdy beat me. You can do that, because I don't really care for Brock. I don't like his chances to really do anything to the secondary. Debo ain't what he once was. The only real serious receiving threat they have right now is number 15. I believe I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but he's on my fantasy team. But I think the key to who?
What do you call it? But he's like 6'3", 6'4". He's the
Juwan Jennings. Yeah. And so to me, they're not that complex as they used to be. Of course, you got to deal with George Kittle. But in a second, I believe have you guys seen their injury report?
No, but what you call it just said that I think it was Black Diamond said Trent Williams is doubtful for the game.
Yeah, he's doubtful. I'm pretty sure Bosa, he's got a hip something going on. I don't think he's going to play. Of course, their first two backs are gone, talking about Jordan Mason and McCaffrey. They're gone. I'm thinking about the defensive side of the ball now. I said Bosa. That's the one guy that I can think of off the top of my head.
Playing with a broken ankle.
Fred Warner, but he's been playing on it, so he can go out there and suit up. And so it all depends on how much he wants to play in this game, really, for the most part. Or do they want to save him? I don't know. But whatever 49er team we're looking at, they're not mathematically out of the playoffs. But when I look at this team, I know a team that's defeated and a team that acts like they're defeated. They play like they're defeated. And it's
yeah, they're a shell of their former selves. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's, just banged up if they're not out, for the season. And it just never came to it this year. The luck factor didn't roll in. And now, that window is closing fast. Granted, their division kind of sucks. So that's leaving it open for them. But as a team, they don't look like, they could beat a high school team right now. And this Bears squad is hungry. They mad. They pissed. They ready like, who we 49ers? Let's go. We about to beat the shit out these bitches. And, that just kind of vibe I get from this game. And San Fran is kind of like, yeah, this season sucked, didn't it? Talking in past tense, even though it's not past tense yet.
I think they're going to go in there and teach them. I think they're going to go in there in their place. I think the Bears are going to go in there and clown them, to be honest with you. That's just my gut feeling about what's going to happen. And it's going to bode well for the whole team. It's going to be the best pick-me-up and shot in the arm that you can imagine, right? I think.
But the fucked up part is every Bears victory for the rest of this season is a shot at Flus, like, you stupid fuck.
All right, man. So anything else on we'll have more to talk about. I don't know if we do a show before the game, but we definitely gonna do the live in game. We're gonna do the post game. But anything else on the 49ers and this matchup going into Sunday, which I think is gonna be at 3:30, 3:25,
3:25.
Yeah. So anybody else? You got any more takes on this FFG before we do something else?
Yeah. I really think whoever suits up on offense line, they need to be disciplined this week because the Niners are efficient. They may not be the team they used to be, but they're a team that knows their roles. Back and forwards, even the backups know what they're supposed to do, which the Bears are pretty close, but they have their precision team. So now you need to win the one-on-one matchups on the outside because their corners ain't hurt. That's one thing that they don't have a problem with. So DJ, Keenan, Rome, and when they get a chance to get, if it's Everett or Komet and Swift out of the backfield, they need to be able to create in space because the Niners tackle well. You know what I mean? So they need their one-on-ones. They need to win.
I'll tell you another thing, man. That goddamn Mustafa, that free safety they got in there playing, they just drafted him, is backing up Mufanga. I don't know how Mufanga is going to get his role back because Mustafa is a beast. When I tell you he's a beast,
Mufanga?
Man, hey, Mustafa is knocking motherfuckers out. I mean, he is. I mean, when I say he putting hats on motherfuckers, I mean, Mustafa is putting it. He putting motherfuckers out. I'm just saying, man. I got to have to put that out there. But anything else? You got any? Go ahead.
I got one request. I want to see Thomas Brown figure out if Tyler Scott can play or not. If that just means putting him out in the slot and run a deep post to back up the defense to allow DJ or Allen or Rome or one of the tight ends to operate underneath, fine. But we got to get this kid out there to see what we have in him. I mean, Allen's not going to be here next season. DJ's under contract. Rome is a rookie, so is Scott someone that can be developed? Or, do we got to looking for another wide receiver, a young wide receiver to develop? Velas, not so much. Scott, what is he? Well, we keep giving Carter all these wide receiver reps, so we don't know. So let's just let Carter focus on special teams and please figure out, if Scott needs reps, let's get that kid some reps, please.
All right. What say you kids about before we get out of this?
Not much about Tyler Scott in that respect. We've said the exact same thing. I just don't know if it's ever going to happen. He's just so buried in that depth chart. Considering what we just saw, there's injuries abound on, for both teams. I'd like to think that somehow the DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and the gang wind up playing together along with DeAndre Swift. That'd be great. But we got a couple of days to figure all that out. So if there's bodies ahead of them, there's bodies ahead of them. And if I was Tom Brown, right now I'd be looking for W's, not experiments. You know what I mean? So that's really where my headspace is. I just whatever gets you to that W this weekend, do it. And on the defensive side, yeah, we can't see, Eric Washington can be a little bit of he can be a boost here for Thomas Brown across the board, right? Because this defense has also been held back in a major way for the past 3 years. They really have been. And we've, in the same pretense, sat back and said, hey, you know what? Go Matt Eberflus defensive coordination. But these guys have not been allowed to be aggressive very frequently under Matt Eberflus. If Eric Washington can tap into a little bit of aggression for this defense, I think it'll go a long way. And that might just be the tide that helped, the tide that needed turning to turn the floodgates on for this team to really start to shine in these last 5 games.
Hey, I've been saying it for far too long, kids. I'm glad you said it for me. I don't have to repeat it. That's the key. Can he get it? Can he get it dialed up on defense to keep this offense from having to do the most? Which they don't really need to have to do. That's the key. But here we go, fellas. I got a question for y'all because I got a couple things dialed up for the show, and I want to see where y'all at because I had something little film on Austin Booker that I think is pretty interesting. Also, I've got some hip hop, some throwback hip hop. Which one would y'all prefer to do, man, to kind of round the show out?
Austin Booker. I need his defense to shine.
Okay, what about you, Kedz?
I'm good. Let's go. Let's. You know how much I love Austin Booker. He's my son. That's my son.
Yeah, let's get a book. See what he got going on.
Booker. All right, let's do some Booker. All right, here we go. Let me present and shout out to the football Scott. I got to try to remember to give him, paste his show in the description. I'll try to remember to do that, but let me share my screen. But really good video, man. Really good video.
What you sipping on, Kedz? What is that? Grapefruit juice and gin, vodka? What is that?
Oh, you close. It's just regular old orange juice and rum. That's my
But the money I saved,
my
I'm gonna get a
go-to.
wax figure myself.
But I drink it.
Oh, to me has a ton of upside.
Can
I kind of want to just check
Yeah.
All right.
what is going on, everybody. Today we're going to analyze the tape of defensive lineman
Oh, big
Austin
screen.
Booker, who had a phenomenal preseason, and the guy's
This is
been
as big
taking
as I can
snaps
get it.
this season. Although it's been limited, and he's definitely
the
been
bottom
making
right.
plays. And I want
Got
to
a
talk
screen.
about what this guy has shown on tape because Austin Booker to me has a ton of upside. And I kind of want to just check in on some of the plays that this guy has
No,
made.
it's on
We'll
the
start
screen,
with
the
some of
bottom
what
right.
he's shown us in pass rushing situations.
On the
first and foremost,
little screen.
because that's what Booker has probably flashed the most in this season. Now, of course, the one thing that Austin Booker has is he has
Yeah,
a
all the
zero
way
pass
to the
rush
right.
plan,
No, up,
and I kind of
up,
want to
back
touch
the
on
left, back to the
exactly
left.
what that means.
No, on the
When you
screen.
have a
with the-
defensive end in the NFL,
on the
that's a good
on the
pass rusher.
screen.
Generally,
You don't know how to
speaking,
make
he's a
it
good pass
full
rusher
screen,
because he
bro?
knows
Yeah, right there,
how to
right there.
win when he's locked in with the guy in a one-on-one
left.
situation.
He was playing the
And if
left
his
side
first
of it.
move does not work, he'll
That
go
should
to a
be better.
second move or a third move. And I'm going to talk about exactly what that means a little bit later on. But I want you guys to think about.
Yeah.
Now
One hand. That was nasty.
let me back that up because that's part of what I want to talk about.
That was nasty. Ugh, get out.
He did a couple things really well here.
Booker, who had a phenomenal preseason, and the
This is
guy's
just
been
that play
taking
where he
snaps
was
this
taping.
season, although it's been limited, and he's definitely been making plays. And I want to talk about what this guy has shown on tape because Austin Booker to me has a ton of upside. And I kind of want to just check in on some of the plays that this guy has made. We'll start with some of what he's shown us in pass.
Now that was some
Some of the
beast.
plays that this guy has made.
That's beast.
We'll start with some of.
Yo, do you want to mute this guy? I don't know if I would want to listen to him run his mouth the whole time. No offense, homie. You've done a good job, I'm sure, but we can just take a look at this footage as we go. He stiff armed the bejesus out of this man. He sent his soul out his body. Like Chang's tongue ripped his spine out his back. Like take a look at that. Look,
Just that shot right there, it looked like he about to choke slam that motherfucker. Man.
like the Undertaker.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. Look, imagine him standing up in this run blitz or the 3-4 hybrid they're going to run this week against the Niners. Just imagine him standing up with nobody in front of him. They're going to be able to dominate the line if they play that way.
Hey, dude, I saw this video. I was just like, man, I got to show this. I don't care what it costs. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is you're going to see in a couple more plays because he only showed like 3 or 4 plays in here and did a whole lot of talking and just rewinded it. But this is what you want from Austin Booker. Straight out collapse. Legs didn't stop running. He put his hand out and said, you know what? I'm running right through your ass and ain't shit you're going to be able to do about it. Look at that. Collapse the pocket. Straight up collapse.
But look at the other side.
Party at the quarterback.
Watch his legs.
That's what I'm saying.
Watch his legs when he makes contact. Boom, drive. That's what you want. That's what you're going to see he doesn't do in one of these other plays. When he does that, you can't stop him. He gets that arm out in front of him, makes that contact, it's over. Run and start, bow. Ain't nothing you can do about that. Nothing. It's too long, too strong.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think that Washington really gonna let the dogs loose? This one, I'm telling you, they got something in the making right now. If they let these coaches stay and do their thing and not be conservative, we could actually shut teams down, not just hold them off. You know what I mean? To win games.
You know, I bet you defensive line wise, Walker was definitely a Flus guy.
You know what, Trip? You son of a, because you are absolutely right. I got a feeling this lineup that Eric Washington might put out might feature more the young guys, man, and maybe not so much Walker, man. Maybe not so much
You
Walker.
want to sacrifice Walker on those like if we just identified Isaac Guerrero as a run threat this week, you probably want Walker in there, don't you?
Not on the outside.
I mean, he's okay as a player, but he doesn't do anything like really good.
No, but
It's not like he's a run stopper. It's not like he's a pass rusher. It's not like he's an edge setter. He's just kind of versatile at being active.
But he's great playing defensive tackle, though. So if you move him inside and let these athletic kids be on the outside, they can string plays out and they can rush the passer.
What I think he's going to end up doing is
You just said something that's brilliant to me, and I'm surprised that I haven't said it before. Well, FFG, you should pat yourself on the back for that, though. Right? If they thought about just considering the fact that we need a big boy, right? We're missing Billings. I know Walker ain't the same build. He ain't Billings. It's a different thing. But he does play well at the DT role. Maybe you slide him in. Maybe you slide him beside Jervon and you give the outside to an Austin Booker or Martin or what have you.
And let that athletic ability run wild.
Yeah.
These plays out. Or to make linemen look silly and get to the quarterback.
I think it's definitely worth a couple of snaps just to find out, man. That's my thoughts there.
Okay. Let me see this, man. Let me get back into this.
Interesting.
And this way you don't have to have your boy 49 run down the middle of the field trying to shut down the middle. Let him
fill that gap.
Let him go make tackles. Tremaine Edmonds, let him go make tackles as a linebacker instead of playing center field. Look where he goes. He out the picture.
Yeah, but
I know it's a pass play. But
I'm just saying
he's guarding nothing though.
They want him like that. They want him in passing lanes. He's a
but if you look at it, where's where's
TJ is what you're thinking, right?
45, and
TJ.
The linebackers are dropping off 15, 20 yards, and you see the tight end and the running back cross short. So they're just keeping everything in front of them. That's that deep cover shell, that umbrella.
Right. Instead of making sure you get nothing. And we up here. So you have to beat us deep, and we got coverage on the backside because we got quality safeties and great cover corners.
Well,
beat
us with your arm.
The name of the game in this defense is basically trust your four to get home. Have your linebackers play back, whether you got base coverage out there with three linebackers or not, whether you a nickel, don't matter. Whatever you're in, it's about they're gonna put those linebackers in the alignment and meaning how far they are back based on how long they think the line takes to get home. And so if they're a little deeper, that means they think that the line needs a little bit more time. If they're a little closer, that means that they know that these motherfuckers can get home rather quick. So everything y'all saying is based on what Flus has basically decided. All right, these guys take a little bit longer to get home. You linebackers play back a little bit further and wait. That's basically what it is.
But the Niners run 6 or 7 on your 4 or 5 that you got near the line of scrimmage to open up them lanes. That's why them cats is always getting noticed. McCaffrey been living on hat on hat, and then somebody comes to second level because there's nobody there. Now we taking out the linebacker who's 6-7 yards back, and now that lane is already created where a corner or safety has to make the tackle.
So you see right here, you see this alignment. That's a pretty good split on the front 4. You see Kevin Byard up in the box, along with TJ and Tremaine over there to your right. You see really, really far in the back, you see Elijah Hicks trying to sneak up. This is telling you they don't respect number 10, the quarterback. And so they're going to play him tight. They're going to play a close box, tight box, and really try to get after him and make it hard for him. They feel like they can really get after the guy. And this isn't a normal Flus set, to be honest with you. We don't really respect your offense or number 10, so we're going to play you tight. That's what this is.
Their ass. They shut us down all day.
Hold on, let me get back to it. Let's let this roll and see what happened with Austin Booker. Boom. Yeah. See that old tackle, he was expecting that guy to try to beat him on the outside, and he jump set it. Watch him jump out.
How did he miss that sack?
He jump set. See that quick jump set?
He jumped and fell. Watch.
He thought that Austin can beat him around the corner. He just took the inside swing on him. He said, "You gonna jump set me like that? All right, I'll take the inside." Fuck it.
That's probably a false start on him too, man. He moved real early, but whatever.
Yeah, nigga was shaking his boots.
Beeline, and he just got tripped up on the way to the quarterback. He should have mugged that guy. Look.
See, he fell. He tripped. If he didn't trip, that's a solo sack.
I mean, he's a straight up missile, man. He's a straight up missile. And look,
then he's back up in pursuit.
Yeah.
He's Vax. I love it.
They definitely got this pick right. That number 59 was really worried about that outside really bad. Like he must have been really beating his ass getting to the outside before that. Here's another one. Or is this the same set? No, this is a different one where he got to the quarterback.
Mm.
Similar, he jumps out, tried to get the outside set, and got beat on the inside again. He's looking at this on tape and regretting it. Like, dude, I got to play this motherfucker more straight up. This dude can win on the outside. Look at that. Boom, got him. All it took was one arm swipe. All it took was one arm swipe down, and he got away from him.
Oh.
But look at Tremaine in no man's land, where, you know what I'm saying, that they playing too far back. If that's their zone, take 2 steps forward. If you know that's the only outlet.
Hold on. This is the one I wanted to show you guys. Watch on this one. Remember I pointed out on the first set, the second rep, when he long armed that dude and damn near lifted him out and gave him the Jesus. He kept his legs moving on that one. On this one, watch his legs stop, and he stopped his drive once they engage. And this was the flaw on this play. You got to keep driving. Once you make the engagement, once y'all engage, got to keep driving no matter what. Just keep driving because you ain't got that much time. Watch this. Watch his legs stop. See that?
Yeah.
That's a flaw. You got to fix that. You got to, once you make that engagement, you just got to keep driving them back. That's your quickest way to the quarterback. Just keep driving. Boom, just drive him. But he stopped because that was, I guess, his way of getting around him. You ain't got time to do all that. You hit him, don't stop your legs, just keep driving.
He wasn't ready for the move he was going to put on him. That's a rookie.
He caught him flat-footed, watched 78 move back.
Right, but he wasn't ready for his move. That's what I'm saying. That's a rookie. He had nothing to set him up with to get leverage.
Everybody knows that when defensive ends are taught that, you might have 2 moves in your head. This guy might inside set you, he might outside set you. But once you engage, the general rules are you keep your feet pounded. You keep driving.
Well, it looked like he wasn't on a like rush. It looked like he was Booker was trying to set up like a juke or a spin or something else. So it wasn't like when he engaged with 78, he was trying to bull rush him. He was trying to get like an inside stutter or spin or something. So he was kind of in between moves instead of like actually rushing.
Yeah. He
It's
doesn't
like
have
he's trying to do something there.
the second move that he wants, he doesn't have that down pat whatsoever. And really the best move he has is either he dips and rips past somebody or he straight up bull rushes somebody all the way to the quarterback. But if you stop your feet and you're gonna give that chance, that tackle a chance to get his shit together. Watch. You can never do that. So now y'all just having a party. Yeah, that's Austin Booker is gonna be the shit. He just needs time. And he still somehow got pressure on him.
Yes, he did.
Well, they gave him that little fake step out there, a little dead leg. Went back to the inside.
Yeah, I'm just really, really his progress so far, fellas. His progress so far is like when we do the game kids in real time, it's kind of hard to know when he's out on the field, right?
Yeah, it is.
And then other times it's just like, all right, I see Austin Booker. Wow, he flashed. You know what I mean? But he's definitely coming along, man. I just love it. Look at Mr. Charles. He said that tackle looked like Braxton Jones.
You see that step that Booker's doing right there is the same step that he did the second time when he took the inside move. And he plant that right leg. And it's like, is he going inside? Is he going outside? But the second time he got inside, the first time the left tackle, stood him up.
At least the kid's getting in the backfield.
Well,
Plant.
I would love to see him get more aggressive at the point of attack and get to the quarterback because he's getting hurries, he's getting pressures, but he's not getting results. So when all this talent comes to fruition, he's going to be a monster. And
I think that what you're saying is a lot of what Booker, Sweat, to an extent, Dexter had this year. They're getting close to the quarterback, but the ball's coming out and hitting those tight ends, hitting those short route receivers, hitting those backfields coming out. But I think if Washington rolls up the coverage more, those guys aren't going to be open like that. Exactly. So that's going to lead to more incompletions, more turnovers, or just more sacks because they won't have the throwing lane. So they'll pump fake once and now they're sacked. So, I mean, a lot of the sacks are just that close. And so a little more, tightness from the linebackers, the safeties, and the cornerbacks, those are sacks.
I remember one time I heard Flus come to the podium and they were asking specific questions on the defensive front. And I remember this, and I understood it when I heard it. And I'm just like, I don't know if that's the best way to teach your D lineman, because he said something that they're taught to not leave their feet. So they're taught not to jump at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if that's the best thing or not, man, to be honest with you, because if you jump and you got a mobile quarterback, that does leave some particular space for a guy to kind of get open. But I think if you don't jump, I think you're going to miss some opportunities too. What do y'all think about that, teaching the D lineman to come off and not jump and get into the passing lane instead of just putting your hands up?
Well, I was always taught, if you see that the quarterback's about to throw the damn ball and you ain't going to get there, you put your arms up, you jump. You try and deflect the ball. You get in the passing lane. You disrupt the quarterback's vision. You make him pull it back down. If he pulls it back down and then kind of jukes and goes around you, that's usually not as big of a gain as if he had completed the pass. So you want to disrupt that timing by being in the passing lane and getting in that line of vision. You know, rushing the quarterback and then not jumping, you know, that's just kind of like something that like Flus would say.
It's kind of goofy to me, man. But I understand. I mean, but that goes, you know what, Trip? It goes to the conservative nature of his play call. You know, you just like, you got to get everything covered. If we might lose ground if we have the D lineman jump and bat balls and do things like that. You worrying about the worst thing that could happen, and so it makes you play conservative, right? Instead of what could happen if you got these dudes that's like running with their hair on fire and jumping at the same time. Those batted balls can end up interceptions. You're not looking at the bright side of it. Instead, you're looking at the conservative viewpoint of, oh, we might give up something. It's like it's a football game. Shit's gonna happen that way. But you're not gonna win. You're gonna die on your own story because you chose to be conservative. And this is what he just did. You chose to be conservative. Chose to be conservative with your defense, with the way you ran the team, and the whole 9 yards. You got a team built enough to win. We should be on the other side of basically the record should be flipped. We should be probably knocking on the door of some playoffs. But instead, with the coach that we have, what we had, we're on the outside looking in, and that's unfair to those guys, man, and they deserve better.
You know, but that goes back to the beginning of the season when Poles was like, yeah, we should be fighting for the playoffs this year. And then it's like, oh, damn, if Flus didn't shit the bed those 4 times, we would have been fighting for the playoffs this year.
Yep.
He just straight let them down, man, and those dudes deserve better than that. And so, you know, that's the reason why he's outside looking in at this thing, saying, hey, give me one more shot, man. I can fix this. Hell no. Dude, you have nothing but opportunity, man. And he couldn't get out of his own conservative way. And what I mean by conservative, I mean, this motherfucker was too tight. I just got tired of saying it, didn't I, kids? I was just like, I'm going to make myself nauseous saying this shit.
As pseudo-critical as you were about Flus, that was the critique. Like, do something. And over time, it kind of became a trope, and you kind of had to back off of it. And at the same time, it was just the obvious situation every week. It's just not going to be aggressive in situations where some aggression would be warranted. And again, just another little slight indictment on Flus's situational understanding of the game of football. But hey, is what it is. I'm interested in seeing what Eric does this week, man, because between the now and the end of the season, he has the opportunity to dial it up a bit, let these guys play a little bit more free, and I think that may have
y'all want to see some Bills defense 2023 to see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, while you pulling that up, Minister Charles Johnson talking about chicken, pancakes, cheese, eggs for breakfast. You know, chicken and waffles. You know, I get it, Roscoe's. You know, but pancakes, but all that, the cheese, the eggs, the chicken, all that stuff will stop you up, mister. You need a little something to get that flowing. You know, you don't want to be clogged all up. You know what I'm saying? You need a little, you know, some prune juice.
On the side,
a little prune juice.
Hold on.
He ain't got no fruit. He ain't got no damn fruit in the house. I bet you $5 right now. Charles Jackson ain't got no damn fruit in the house. Stop bullshit. And I ain't talking about the shit in the can with all the corn syrup either.
All right, hold on, guys. I'm about to pull this up. Let me get this on the screen.
Nomad, what I was looking at, what y'all talking about, is the inability to make change, because every team know what we're doing every week. There was no adjustment they had to make. They were like, okay, we know they're going to play it like this, and here's where our opportunities are. So they didn't have to. When they came on the game plan, they knew. So they knew they was getting 6 yards on this play, 8 yards on this play, or this hole was going to be open in the defense. That's the problem with the Flus system, And I think Eric Washington is not going to be that predictable. So that predictability is what we need to see change, where teams aren't just like, oh, the Bears going to be this, the Bears going to be that. Oh, damn, they came with a corner blitz on this play. They came with, they ran man-to-man on this play. They had 7 in the box, stop the run. That's the kind of thing I want to see going forward. And it doesn't have to be blitzing necessarily, but it needs to be a change where it's not predictable, where they say, we know what y'all going to run. We know exactly where y'all going to position y'all going to be in on all these plays.
That leads right into this right here, what I'm about to show y'all. And one thing I would point this out before we start watching this, I've seen this a couple of times, but watch, some of it's going to look a lot like what Flus is doing. They got 4 down linemen, but you're going to see quite often that you won't see 4 down. You might see 3 down. You might see 1 up, and you might see some dudes creeping, mugging the blitz. You're going to see all kinds of different shit, but I'm going to show you. This is going to be good. Watch this. Let me turn the volume down on this. Okay. You're going to enjoy this. Just watch the alignment on the front first. Okay. Let me back it up a little bit. First thing to do is to watch the alignment. You see, I don't know. Let me wind it one more time. I don't know how many guys were up and down on the front, but look at this. So you had 3 down and 1 guy up at the top up here. This is the only guy up in a 2-point stance. Everybody else in a 3-point stance. Watch this. Watch the guys mugging. This is a linebacker mugging. This is a linebacker playing pretty tight. Safety's mugging. And this is a 1st and 10. Look at how tight the coverage is. 1st and 10.
It can't be. Look where they started at. It's like 2nd down.
Leonard Floyd. That's a 1st and 10.
It was too close.
No, that's not too close. And you got 1, 2, 3, 3 down, 4 down actually on this one. And you got the slot mugging.
2nd and 5.
I know. I see that. Here you got the linebackers playing. This is fairly close too. But look at how you got the corners kind of tacked up and ready. He's a little off on this side, but that's okay too, because you got everything so tight up in here. That's blitzing the run game. That's a linebacker that came in the field. See that one more time. Let me show that one more time. Okay, that's him, the linebacker that came and shot like a bat out of hell. This is a run blitz. Over with before it even got started. That's the kind of disruption we need. Okay, on this one, see, you got, let me see, look at the front here. You got 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down, and another up. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man front. And they don't know how many of these guys are coming. I'm willing to guarantee you one of these dudes is going to drop back and the rest of them are going to come. But look how close the coverage is. And you still have safeties and linebackers back there playing up. And they are not, and this is a 3rd and 9. This is not conservative by any means, is it not?
That's what you want to see, though. You got to beat us.
This is what you want. Just be fast. Just be fast. Here's a 4 down front, but you see the safety creeping up or a slot guy creeping up. The linebackers, they look like they playing forward to me, don't they? Instead of playing back looking like they catching, right? These guys look like they ready for action, and this is a 1st and 10.
So they got 8 dudes in the box. That's nasty. And dropped right perfect in the coverage.
This is why they led the league in pressure. We got something like this coming.
And we got the athletes to do it. That's what I want to see.
This is the kind of defense I want to play in for a 4-3. Yeah, I don't like that conservative shit. Look at that. So let me back it up just a little bit more. Let me see how many they had down. I'm gonna do that every time.
4.
I think they 2 down and 2 up. Boom. They just look like a bunch of bees out there, don't they? Look at that. Already in the backfield.
But they're using athleticism. You see that? They're not huge on the line.
Look at that front.
But you notice they're not huge on the line. So they're getting past them. They're not blocking it straight up, where it's hat on hat. They get through the creases.
Well, they're running stunts as well.
What you notice, what you guys should pay attention to
is a receiver.
When they mugging fronts like this and putting the extra guy in the box, what they're doing with the rest of these guys is throwing this crew right here is making that quarterback a little nervous because he doesn't know what's about to happen with these dudes. This is called disguising your coverage. And you got these guys playing up close. Who knows if they don't fall back into zone, each one of them. You got
that's also confuses your line because, all right, who's the mic? Who are they keying on to, know to slide the protection left and or right? Here it's like they're probably, I'm not saying probably, but, they may want to slide the protection left here, because it looks like a defensive end down there by the little arrow. But, I mean, you don't know who's coming, so that can also confuse the blocking schemes. Then you running stunts behind that, and that gives your front four an opportunity to disrupt the play without having them just run man up, one-on-one individual, mano a mano.
Right. But that one question I would just ask you guys in general, and each one of y'all can answer that. Does this look anything like you've seen on defense? Something that Flus does?
Oh, hell no.
No.
Is that
come on? You need to stop.
I'm just saying.
We know the madness, it stops now. We finna get quality defensive line, linebacker, and safety play because the corner's going to be able to do their job for a change. Where they play man or they play zone, they don't know. That's the difference. They have no idea who's guarding who and who's playing who. So they can't just be like, okay, this area of the field is going to be open, or we can run this way because we can block it up this way.
This is the same 4-3 base scheme that Flus is running, but you can't tell because the hybridness of the scheme and how he dials it up. He allows these guys to be aggressive and play downhill. It's just fucking impressive to watch. Watch. Getting off that ball, man. They're getting off that ball. It's all about speed. They're getting the fuck off that ball. They're getting the fuck off that ball, dude.
So who do we have on the outside that gets off the ball quickly?
Well, we can get into that, but look at this one. This is a 3-down. This is a 3-down front.
Martin.
This is a 3-down front with the line slid kind of to the strong side there. Or you can say that's a strong side. And look at this right here. One guy up. Look at the slot guy. They're playing downhill. Look at this. Look at this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the box. That's 9 in the box right there. That's and watch and see what they do. And they all playing forward. Jimmy G, you just didn't know what the fuck you was looking at. Period. He just didn't know what he was looking at.
Whoops.
Well, here's you got. You got 3 down, 1 up. Always pay attention to how many are down, how many are up, and look at the rest of the cup around it. How they're playing. Their alignments are playing like we getting ready to be in attack mode. We're not finna sit back here and just be playing this guy's back here, this guy's back here, this guy's playing way off the ball, and we're gonna give him 7 yards just for general purposes. That's some bullshit. And that's the way football is defense. I don't want to play in no fucking defense like this. I want to play aggressive. And that's what this is. That's a similar thing. They always this is confusing to a quarterback and the offensive line. They don't know which one of these guys are coming. That took them a little bit longer, but it paid off. Terrell Bernard. Okay, 2 down. 2 down. 1, 2. 2 up. 1, 2. These guys are mugging. You don't know which one of these guys are coming on a blitz. Him. This guy is creeping, but more than likely he's going to play coverage because they got a trips to that side. But let's see what they do. Yep. That's just called speed. Playing fast.
Wow.
The corners are up so they can make plays. Do you see the difference? They not way back. So you're giving your athletes a chance to fight for the ball every time. That's what I want to see. This is exactly what he can do to change the culture of the defense where we're attacking them, not them attacking us, and we're waiting for which attack is coming.
I've been preaching this shit for weeks and weeks, months, matter of fact.
I'm preaching it for 3 years.
Yeah, for the most part. Look, here's a 2nd and 8 down in the red zone. Now, notice down in distance, number 1, and notice the fact that they're in the red zone. A conservative coach would have these guys right here playing that line, trying to play that line just to try to, just trying to play that bend but don't break strategy, keeping everything in front of him. Instead, he's playing a little closer and trying not to really give too many tails. He's making sure everybody's close to the line of scrimmage. But you don't know how many of these guys are going to come and who's going to step back. But let's see how it plays out.
It looked like everybody was standing up on that one.
Threw right into the traffic. This is what you want to see, right?
Yes, sir.
This is what you want to see.
Yes.
But
a little bit more aggression, just a little bit of this. It's going to be a difference. It's going to be a huge shift for this defense, mind you.
I keep noticing the slot. That's the slot right here, and the 2 linebackers have got like this little cone going on every pre-snap. They're always lined up in some kind of bunch. This is again a 1st and 10. You got 3 down, 1 up. This guy's playing fairly close. They're playing a little bit off here, but you got this guy creeping. Why? Because he doesn't know what's going to happen. Apparently, either this guy is going to come and this guy is going to replace him on this guy on the route. But let's see what happens. He's coming. That's just this. You can't do nothing with that. But let me stop right here, man, because this goes on for quite some time. They made a lot of big plays. Y'all kind of get where I'm going with that, man. It's the Bills defense under Eric Washington is highly aggressive in its hybrid front, and they play it just as aggressive in the back 4. Why would I say 4? Because they can play it with 3 linebackers, or they can play it with the slot. So there's 4 guys that you have to deal with. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking forward to with this guy in front of everything, man. That's absolutely right, man. Speed and awareness.
That's what we're missing. It's exactly the level of aggression that we're missing. Some of those formations that you just saw that you just showed there, for the most part, would literally negate some of the losses that we've experienced. Right? That Hail Mary game, a little bit of that, no Hail Mary. That's about that simple. But that's what I want to see. I want to see a heck of a lot of that from Eric Washington. I think he's the secret to the sauce that really keeps Thomas Brown here in the role that he's in. Just a matter of it actually happening, you know?
Kid, you're taking the word right out of my mouth. This is Eric Washington's time to shine, to make Thomas Brown look good, to make the Bears look good, and to show what we have really on defense. But we haven't shown that. We haven't exploited the concept of that defense yet. We've used it. We haven't exploited all the possibilities that it can be. So,
hey, FFG, real quick before you keep going.
Just tooling around the town, and instead of just getting on the freeway and boom, 4th gear.
FFG, the beautiful thing about it, I'm sorry for cutting you off, is we got Tremaine Edmonds here to bring everybody along. He knows what to do because he came from there. with Eric Washington. He'll bring everybody along. He's like, I know what he's trying to do. He's just trying to really muddy everything up and be aggressive in the front, man. Y'all just got to be fast. And the fact that we have Tremaine here, knowing that defense and how he likes to dial it up, I think this is a treat like a motherfucker that we ain't really talking about enough.
And he's a captain, right? So he can say, hey, this is how we did it. This is how we did it. Here's where you need to be, and here's how we need to disguise it. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Y'all good, man? Y'all wanna wrap this thing up because we did 2.5 hours. Y'all want to do some hip hop? Which one would y'all prefer?
Nah, shit, I'm ready to wrap it up myself.
All right. No said.
Before we do that, though, Minister Charles said he got a bag of oranges he just got today, and it's like, just got them today, and they lonely as fuck in the fruit pantry. But it's not like that means shit. Mimosas for breakfast, with the breakfast.
I just ate a big ass navel orange yesterday. People eat their fruit.
Yeah, but shit, and the mimosa is better than eating because you got champagne. But he also said that I will be licking the dust off of the what was the cereal? He said Lucky Charms. I can't fuck with Lucky Charms like that. That sugar. And then like Captain Crunch, the Captain Crunch tears up the roof of your mouth. The Fruity Pebbles, they get soft too fast, and the milk. But I will mess with like around Halloween, like Blueberry, Frankenberry, Count Chocula, I will fuck with them. But it's been a few years now. My vice, if I get cold cereal, I'll get some Reese's Puffs and just eat them out the bag. Out the box.
Raisin
no milk.
Crunch. You cut up a couple.
No, the Reese's, bro. The Reese's, the chocolate.
Great.
Chocolate peanut butter joints. Or you can, get the peanut, the Raisin Bran thing, like a little trail mix, a little something like that. But yeah, it's just
get y'all a fucking get you a fucking little blender, one of those little magic bullets, man. And if you like sweets, I'm telling you, man, get you a fucking smoothie. Get you a real fruit smoothie. Go buy real fruit and blend that shit up with some yogurt, and a little bit of like we use almond milk around here, and a little bit of almond milk, dude. That's gonna take care of all your sweet desires, bruh. And it's all good sugar.
And you can make the chocolate ones and throw your own peanut butter in there. Telling you, some banana. Woo!
Telling you, man, dude. I'm telling you, that's that. Those smoothies
My girl making smoothies early in the morning.
Smoothies to save your fucking life. I use them as a treat when I get done working out. That's my treat. I'm giving me a nice ass, good ass fruit smoothie. I'm a strawberry banana type of motherfucker. So a lot of that in there, and whatever else I got in there. I like last week I put a pear in there, a red pear. It was real good, man.
Well, that'll keep you regular too.
Hell yeah, keep you regular.
It's like, I'm your Huckleberry.
I almost couldn't do it.
I was gonna say it. I was gonna do it. You ruined it. You did it for me.
Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
I almost couldn't. Thanks to the dude, man. Thanks to the dude that was there playing. He was playing. What you call that? The batter that don't never get the bat, pinch hitter for me, because I almost couldn't do Superflex because of that, man. I fucked around and had a heavy fruit smoothie, man, and I almost couldn't do the show because of that. But yeah, shout out to Dude for that, man. He was ready to play backup just in case, man. But yeah, man, got to get it right, man. You got to stay right. But all right, man. Let me just not delay this. Let me not delay this no longer. Pass it on to my guy from Canada, the Canuck, for some pleasantries before we get out of here.
Man, I didn't see Doc Holliday references being thrown around at the end of all this. Shout out to Val Kilmer and the one rule that rule them all. In any event, let's end this thing. Let's end this sauce thing so we can all get some shut-eye. Call it a day. Minister Charles, you've been cooking it up all day, man, making all of us hungry. A Triple R salivating over there, man. And then we delved into cereal. And that's where I'm good, lactose intolerant. I'm gonna stay away from the cereal. I'm straight. Anyways, shout outs to you. Shout outs to It's Crimson and Dig. Thanks for popping in, holding it down with us all night long. Shout outs to King Booker World, my guy Black Diamond, Petty Murphy was there with us today. Who else is here with us today? Definitely my guy FFG is holding it down right underneath me. My guy Mo Fugra, shout outs to you. Hey, follow me every Tuesday at 6 Central, 7 Eastern. We'll flex it up. Super Flex Fantasy Football Show with yours truly, Kedz the Canuck. Just about into the playoffs for all you fantasy football heads. So hopefully I helped you make a couple of bucks and extend your season. Outside of that, continue to follow us for good old football, good old NFL conversations as per the rest of the league. Not just the Chicago Bears, but there might be some Bear stuff in there too. Anyways, y'all, thanks for coming through. Thanks for hanging out with us, kicking it. Shout outs to the Nodge, Super No Maniac Terry Anderson. Who else is out there? Super No Maniac Jim Hunter. Shout out to my darn cigarette-filled lungs today because I'm trying to put back up a small child. I swear to God. But anyhow, I'm quitting. I'll get there. It's a tough road to follow. My guy Marlon Johnson, thanks for coming through. Shout outs to you. Anyone else I'm missing? Joseph Archer, shout outs to you, dog. I think that just about rounds it out for the heads that were with us today for the most part. But man, we wrapped it up. We took a look at just about everything we needed to talk about by way of Thomas Brown, Eric Washington, and this matchup this weekend. Should be a good matchup. I think the Bears can take this. I think this may begin to be that turning of the tide that I talked about. And my fingers are crossed. Hopefully, I'm pulling for Thomas Brown. I'll be straight up and down about it. I'm pulling for Thomas Brown. I am pulling for Eric Washington and these guys to stay. But I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth. I need MFs to prove it. And that's where I'm at.
Hey, before you go, Trips, I got and I've seen Crimson say huckleberries, man, getting some huckleberries. That's one I might have to go find because I got a couple of what do you call those little farmer markets and stuff like that. Maybe I can find some of those. Try some huckleberries in my smoothie. That's one berry that I haven't tried. Love blueberries. Love me some blueberries in my smoothie, but need to try some huckleberries, man. So shout out to Crimson. But go ahead, Trips.
Yeah, I want to say I've had huckleberry jam before, and I want to say I was in either Portland, Oregon, or Vancouver, Washington, there across the bridge, at Voodoo Donuts, and had like a huckleberry donut kind of thing. I want to say I had one of those before. So yeah, huckleberries are pretty tasty. But yeah, big up to all the No-Maniacs, all the Super No-Maniacs, and all the Bears fans out there on the road with all this drama, up, down, head coaches, GMs, quarterbacks, offensive lines, defensive lines. And hopefully we have, hopefully we already have our head coach in the building. We need to see more of that. Hopefully this team will look more energized, without the albatross of the floose around their neck. Hopefully Thomas Brown just takes the bull by the horns and like, yeah, this is my shit now. Don't even worry about other head coaches. I'm the head coach now. And, Poles is like, all right, I can work with this. And, Warren is like, all right, y'all gonna do that. Let me go on back to the stadium shit. And everything works out. But in the short term, it's all about the 49ers. And I think this team takes the 49ers. So, we'll see, Sunday afternoon. But until then, make sure you all are subscribed and checking out the content over at Sports Chicago Style, as trying to keep it fresh, innovative, and, content creation, lifestyle, culture, exercising, self-defense, video, recipes, all kind of good shit going on over there. So, check us out, show us a little support. Maybe if you see some, fat chicks with stretch marks and a few jelly rolls, you send them that way too, because, it's all love. Mother love. Mother love.
All right.
FFG.
Oh, Trips, man, you your creative behind and just be killing me with stuff I see on your channel. I just be amazed every week. Like, I'll be checking you out, bro, and you just doing the damn thing. Yes, I'm sorry to just ain't no running backs for me to select in my league, so I'm in first place. I might lose this week. That's all right. I already got a bye, so it don't really matter what happens to me on Sunday in fantasy. So I got a couple bums out there. I'm still waiting for my kicker to come off waivers. To all the no maniacs out there, I'm just like you. I love this show. I really like representing y'all. I really like having a voice to be able, and I implore you to come on the show. I really do. Like, give your opinion. I mean, chat is cool, but I'm sometimes one day, every now and then, come on and talk some smack. You know, let us know how you feel, because that's how we gonna get this show popping in a small degree. Nomad, thank you for the opportunity. I really think the theme for the Bears is like, release the hounds. That's what it should be for the rest of the season. Release the hounds.
Who let the dogs out?
Hey, that's the other song, but I want to release the hounds because they on the road, so they can't do that this week. They're gonna be in the road for a little bit. So when they get that home game against Seattle, they can bump that. But they're gonna be on the road. Other than Detroit, they got a home too. But I want to see a complete team focused, and now they're ready to take the delivery of the head coach, the defensive coordinator, special teams, and actually give the effort to win in all three phases from start to finish. Not we've been, lackluster, for lack of a better word, in the first half. Now I got to go earn some money coming out halftime. They got my money. Let's go out there and kick their ass. I don't want to see that. I want to see you get off the plane ready to kick somebody behind. And I really think that's going to be the change coming for the next 5 weeks, that the effort is going to be there above all else. So thank you again, everybody, fans, especially Trips, Kedz, Nomad, Nick, for doing this show and making it something special and letting people have a voice.
Hey, man, more than happy to be here to do it. That's what this show is all about. That's what the Super No Maniac Lounge is all about. That's what some extra sauce is all about, to be able to come in here and do. You guys know we don't look at all 22 on regular shows because we always got it monetized, and you're going to get dinged every time you do that. And so sometimes in here, I'm not going to say I'm going to do that every time, but every now and again, I won't monetize the show just so I can show you guys what you've been hearing me talk about for months and months. And according to FFG, for years since Flus has been here, hey, man, you got to get a little bit more aggressive. You got to get more hybrid in your front. You got to play more downhill and let these dogs you got loose for the most part per FFG. That's why it was important for me to show you guys what Eric Washington was doing with that defense in Buffalo. And I'm glad that you guys got to see the contrast. I'm glad that you all got to see the contrast. Not everybody wants to spend time watching all 22 like me. And, everybody don't have to do that. But that's why you got shows like this. And so that we can point that stuff out for you and you can see exactly where we're getting at. And so hopefully you guys took something from that and say, you know what? That's exactly what I want to see. Hopefully that's what you guys took from that. But thank you guys for being here. Every last one of you guys that are members of this network. We need every last bit of it we can get, man. We love you guys. And I'm going to say this before I forget it. The plan is to do an extra Super No Maniac show this weekend. Hopefully we'll be able to pull it off. I think we can. And I think you guys are going to like it. So we're going to add some content to what you guys get as members, man. I'm trying to do as much as I can until we get the website back up. We're going to work on getting y'all some discounts, all that kind of stuff that make it worth it being a member of the network. But just so y'all know what happens with the money you give, it goes to apps so that we can make these graphics. It goes to all kinds of things that we have to do, the StreamYard, everything, all this stuff costs money, every last bit of it. And you guys help us stay afloat, man, just to keep the lights on, man. And really right now, that's all we can ask for. So thank you guys. I can't thank you enough. And before we get out of here, I want to say this to you since we were talking about it tonight. People, please, I know we like to eat all kinds of foul stuff that everybody likes. I like all the shit that y'all like. I love the fried chicken. I love the shrimp. I love the French fries. I love all that stuff. I like me a pork chop every now and again. Fried. You know what I mean? But if you're going to eat stuff like that, here's what you got to do. You got to make sure you add balance to your diet. How do you do that? For starters, you gotta sweat those impurities out. What comes with all of that stuff? Impurities, grease, and all that kind of stuff. You got to sweat that stuff out. Because if you just let it sit there and you're taking a pill or two thinking that's going to help you with your blood pressure and all that kind of stuff, it can only help you so long, for so far. At some point or another, you're going to have to help that medicine help you. And how do you do that? Get some regularity to your diet with your exercise and making sure you're getting fruit and vegetable in your body. When you need sugar, find good sugar to put in your body. All that, all these processed foods, I like all of it. I love me a good Polish, man. I like hot dogs and shit like that. You know what I mean? I love to eat it. But it's the fact of the matter is those toxins that come with the prepackaged stuff, the processed foods, you got to sweat it out or it sets in your body and creates problems. Next thing you know, your blood vessels are clogged and you don't even know about it. But if you exercise, keep that heart pumping, it keeps good regularity to your bloodstream and stuff doesn't build up in there. So my advice to everybody is find some reason, somehow, at least 2-3 times a week to sweat and sweat really good. Get all those impurities out of you and do the other stuff, talking about getting the fruit and vegetables in you. I don't want to sound like Hulk Hogan, but he kind of knew what he was talking about with that. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to pass that on to you guys. And it doesn't happen overnight. I just wanted to warn you guys. Anybody that wants to start a routine in their life, it ain't gonna happen overnight. You gotta get that shit into your system for about 2 to 3 weeks until it's solid, until you're into it, and then stick to it. And you'll be just fine, man. I just want to encourage some people, man. I want to see people come back to the show every week. I like to see you guys above ground. I want to be above ground. I'm going to do something about it. But with that being said, we're going to get up out of here and thank you guys one more time. But I'm going to leave you guys with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, people, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Don't be a prisoner of your mind. But with that being said, we are out.